so far, it is the top 9 on our screen, from 70 all the way down to 32. There's a lot of steps to climb up on. It's not just 5, 10 points from number 5 onward. It's more than that. It's more than that. You need to accumulate 2, 3 matches. Really good for yourself. But going into the second page, it is DRX. After 32 points, it is 29 on the second page, the top of the page. 28 for the Talon, 24 for the Yangon, 24 for the Vampires, 23 for Boom, 20 for Going Donkeys. Champion has 12, 11 for RRQ, and Secret with the 10. We can safely assume at this point, DK, that up until top 15, yeah, they have the chance of securing the top 5. But these bottom line teams, the Champion, RRQ, Ryu, or Secret, they might not be able to accumulate that much amount of points to get into the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, 60 points in one day for Team Secret. Good luck. It's not going to be easy. Not quite sure if I don't see that being a thing here today. So I have to agree with you. The expectation of the teams a little bit further down those standings, climbing all the way to the tippity top, it's going to be a pretty steep mountain to climb. But speaking about mountains to climb, here we have all our MVPs. We got Rosemary 911 leading the charge there with 15 eliminations, 3,200 damage, and a lot of knockouts going their way. But a rising star from yesterday, of course, was Trix, right? Trix coming in with that back-to-back MVP. So I'm curious as to whether or not Trix is going to maybe look to continue with that rhythm, with that momentum that they were able to establish yesterday. But of course, you got to give a big shout out going out to Hura as well. As you can see, No Fear and Sky both representing their team right here in the MVP.
Yep, this is the point of contestation here. It is about these top 4 teams, top 4 players, in fact, that's going to go head-to-head for these 6 matches. The Miramar, we're starting once again to the land of the Baron, the land of almost the dead, because the amount of heat that you face there, whew, you need some water right there, unless you find the circle over there. Then okay, that's another way of getting eliminated. But then we will move to the Erangel. Again, Miramar, Erangel, Miramar, and Erangel. 3 Erangels, 3 Miramars in total, ladies and gentlemen. The only 3 Erangels and Miramars sets that the teams are going to face before they're deemed champion or they're taken away from their ranking spots.
Yeah, I think I need a little crown thing here so that when we get to the end, I can go like, you know,
yep.
There we have it. We know who won the overall competition. I'm very excited to see what the teams are going to be bringing in today here. Just based on the pacing that we've seen come all the way from the first day of playoffs, there's definitely been quite a bit of an increment as to how these teams show that aggression and how they utilize the map, those rotations to come through as well. So I'm really looking forward to this, and as you said, right, we are going to be running through pairings of Miramar, Erangel, so there's going to be a lot of opportunities for the teams to try and kind of maintain that pacing that they've brought through from yesterday. But so the big question is going to be, who will be the team to keep it the longest, right? Because Tribe Aramacy, they showed a lot yesterday, and what we have seen a little bit over the past days is that teams have a really good first day, and then when they come into the next day, it becomes a little bit more shaky. But unfortunately for today, teams can't afford to do that, right? They have to keep that pacing going, if not take it a few steps further.
Yeah, that's one thing. You have to make sure that you're going up and beyond of what you're capable of at this point. It's not just about, okay, you can do it consistently, you can do it good. It's about going up and beyond, judging and crossing your own limitations at this point if you want to improve and you want to get more and more of those aggressions for yourself, because that's how you improve. You have to take over your limits, go up a notch, and make sure that everything works out at the very end. That's one thing. Hoping does always works a wonder. But yes, Miramar it is. And DK, any predictions?
Ooh, well, for Miramar, I'm a mime. Oh, I'm not a mime anymore. I thought I was a really good ventriloquist there for a second. Turns out that's not the case. With regards to predictions, okay, so the one prediction I made, I was pretty damn accurate with that one. So
Yes.
I don't know if maybe I should quit while I'm ahead, or maybe I shouldn't. We'll find out soon. But so prediction for the first map. Let me see. I am gonna go. Ooh, I'm gonna go with DRX.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
Huh. They got you your first point, and they might get you another one. But yeah, I'd say, for me, I would personally would like to go with Tribe Aero Messi, but I know that they're super like okay with the top position, that they might not actually over aggress upon on the teams. So Alter Ego. I would go with Alter Ego as my first choice because they need those points. They were thrown away from the top position multiple times, and now they're sitting on the between number 2 and the number 3. It's just a 1 point of a difference. If they want to reclaim back their throne, the number 1, this is the match. This is the engagement that they need. This is the start that they really want to like secure for themselves. So Alter Ego it is, and now it's just a matter of factor of time on when our plane will take the flight, when our plane will take to the land of the Miramar, and we will see all of those 18 names, maybe 17, maybe 16, take the fight.
Yeah, only time will reveal all, but I'm waiting for Hura Esports also to really come into that momentum again here today. They were performing really well up until game number 4. Up until the point where Tribe Aero Messi decided that they are gonna plant their flag all over the place, and I want to see who's gonna be challenging for that pole position. But the big question, of course, is gonna be for the top 5, right? That is where the race is gonna be, or what the race is gonna be for. So as we've already mentioned, there are a few teams in contention for that, and yeah, I'm ready. I'm curious. I don't think DRX are necessarily going to be the team to get to the top of the standings here today, because they are quite far behind with regards to points. Of course, coming in on 29, as we saw. So to climb all the way to the tippy top, that is going to require some phenomenal work, which I'm sure they could maybe pull off. But looking at the rest of the lobby, and also looking at the day that we're in, that is going to be a pretty tall order. Speaking about which, though, it is going to be go time as we move into our first match of the day.
Oh, there we go. The first match commencing up. Miramar going from Impala all the way to the western side, El Pozo area. Somewhat, yes, the centralized position of the map is definitely going to be accessible, like Los Leones, the Picado power grid, all those major contestation points that teams usually do, and we have seen them into the playoffs, into the final standing, final chance standing, and into the day number 1 of the grand finals to go as well. But having El Pozo into the play changes majority of the things, because we have not seen El Pozo favored map since the playoffs, and because of this, where El Pozo is kind of accessible for the teams, there might definitely be some contestation over there. But so far, what I can see as the contestation goes, it is the Los Leones with the E-Arena being there. There is the team Tribe Aero Messi close to the proximity. There's A1, so there's already 3 teams going towards the side of the Los Leones. Someone might just drag their rotation out maybe towards the southern side to the cave areas that maybe get their loot over there. But aside from that, I can see definitely E-Arena, A1 close to each other.
Well, here we go. That flight path now getting revealed, as well as we get ready for our first bit of action here. And this is going to be the big question, right? Is Puerto going to be the place where we'll have the first blood then getting secured, as the knock has made its way on NRRQ. Going to find themselves in a bit of a hot position right here. Now going to see if they can respond in kind onto the side here. Oh, of champions. Lapar taking quite a bit of damage, unfortunately getting dropped right on down. 2 players already getting knocked over onto the side here for RRQ. So it does seem like it is somewhat in favor of Champions Esports. They do get yet another knock. 1 player left for RRQ. If they cannot save this, they will be the first team to get eliminated in game number 1.
Oh, the situation is not looking pretty for the Team RRQ as the champions goes with the firebow. Oh my god, they're ready to take that explosive bow straight to the face of the Team RRQ. So far, the two players, they got their revive. They are back to the 75% HP, and now Atomic with the UMP-45, he wants to push, but Balja first and foremost gets a knockdown, instantly gets a confirmation on the right corner with the Akaba, and the player is residing, but there we go. He's not going to be residing anymore as SKS makes its way, gets that final nail in the coffin, and for elimination without a single casualty to Champions Esports. Champion, they are still at the very bottom of the table as 12 points in total. They had 4 more, meaning 16 points. Still less than 20, but they're climbing. They're still steadily climbing today.
Yeah, I mean, 4 will definitely get you closer to that 20-point tally there. But we'll find out where these teams are going to look to take it towards next as we jump over to A1 up in Los Leones. E-Arena, one of the teams that you were talking about in just in the off-cam, saying that you think they could maybe be performing quite well here today, making their way through. Now, I'm curious to see how this engagement could potentially unravel between them. DRS, though, also coming through with a bit of a split. All the way up in towards Hacienda del Patron, and no one in the vicinity from what we can see here. So there is still going to be an opportunity for Cyclone to get some pretty good and decent loot going right here. Now, the rest of the teams, though, yet to make any decisive moves. DRS, quite comfortable in the zone, so I'm not expecting to see any crazy business on their end, at least not in the next 3 minutes.
I mean, that is true. That is true. For the next 3 minutes, 4 minutes, we might not see any kind of crazy moves going around for the teams. But so far, DRS, Yumiko, yeah, and alongside of Yeta Uta. Okay, we have Yeta Uta this time. It's been a hot minute since I have seen this guy play into the games. But maybe he has played with a different name or something. And he just came back with this name. But aside from that, yes, DRS with Cyclone, Example, Samza, Yetauta, and all the 4 players of the DRS. And as usual, getting the Golden Mirado, the paper car, the one and only signature one from the Miramar, and just dragging it all the way from the start till the very end. Vampire on our screen with their own set of vehicles. El Zarus climbing some of the mountains, some of the ridges, all these slowly and steadily towards the San Martin area. But Hora Esports, another name close to the San Martin, I do believe so. Oh, that's a different location. Yeah, that's a different. That's exactly a different location. But Hora, alongside of in fact Sleepy, Jiggle, Sky, they're all at a different locations, getting their arsenals.
Yeah, we're from what we can see here all the way up in towards Crater Field, all the way towards that northern position. So an interesting kind of rotation that we had. They dropped just on the northern side of San Martin and pushing a little bit further upwards. And I think that was a good call because we don't really see anyone too close to them. DRX, though, they decided that they are going to try and climb on high as they dropped up into El Pozo. Now getting a little bit of that Overwatch positioning here. XQZZ, of course, already right from the start of the game, aiming up onto this mountain. So I'm curious whether or not we are going to have any potential engagements coming through from this position. We do see another team just over onto the eastern side, up in towards Power Grid. So I want to see how this all then comes together. But for the time being, DRX, they can go about scouting it out while SEM9 is going to be that team just over onto the eastern side.
So far, it's a stalemate. After the first very initial fight within the 2-3 minutes of the game, we're not seeing any more contestation. But okay, as soon as I just name it, as soon as I call it out, the fight's actually begun. Joker gets a knock, instant confirmation straight up there. But E-Arena, the rest of them, they just want to get out of there. They know that there's DBS, S12Ks, and the major compound area. It has been overtaken by A1 Esports, and there's no hope to take it back away from them. So why not just go to a different location, save and secure, make sure you have some more decent compounds than the one that you had now, and then try again. But 3-player party. it's gonna hurt you. Not now, but at the later stages of your survival.
Yeah, it definitely will. And of course, we can see now Arena trying to put a little bit of a gap between themselves and A1 Esports. But I think, unfortunately for Arena, there are going to be a few other teams situated right here. We got DRS also in the vicinity. Federale is going to be falling off of a height, getting themselves knocked on down. Either that or they got yeeted out of their own vehicle by pressing the wrong button here. But now, Arena, they could have a bit of an opportunity onto DRS. And Mormon already up on the high ground, spots a great angle, does send it on through. Fortunately, there is a little bit of coverage coming through here from Samsa. And now up on the plains, this is where we could look at our next engagement.
No way. He missed every single shot to this close of a car near him. Not only that, but Samsa beautifully giving the cover, making sure that he's even not able to secure more and more shots on him, just making sure that he's back to where he came from, the corner that he started to like peek from. Now with the smoke, the cloud, he has changed his location successfully. But DRS, they're ready for the action. At least one player that I can see, Cyclone, he's still going around towards the player for some reason. But Yetauta, he's on the top of the mountain. You can see that he's climbing the mountain top as well. There we go, the random shots coming into the cloud smoke. The player cars are finally bursting down. The player falls over and to his demise. He's gonna go. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Cyclone finished off right there. And Arena with their first initial frag right here. Okay, they're still 3-man. It's one difficult situation, and on top of that, that one single guy on the mountain ridge top, he's away from the team.
I gotta know what they did with that vehicle. How on earth is it stuck to the side of a mountain? Please help me understand. That is... I don't think I've ever seen that. A vehicle stuck to the side of the mountain. The vertical face. How? Anyway, what we'll see soon is going to be whether or not Yeta Uta is going to be able to find a few more sprays. It is going to be Alter Ego now moving up alongside them here. Krypton, the first one, looking to establish a bit of an anchor point. We also see a few other engagements now starting to trickle on in, as it is going to be Tribe, Eremacy, the squad at the top of the leaderboard, looking to defend. They will get rushed. It is going to be Boom Esports knocking on their door. Riggs that get downed. Gotta watch out for champions though. Sem9 and A1 also starting to find each other. So this is that moment where the lobby starts to light up. It is going to be action, action, action all over the place. Ooh. Young Tate looking interesting there. Almost running over their teammates' feet. I'm not quite sure what that play was. But they're going to have to be quick about it as Champions Esports now start to push on forward, rushing right onto the doorstep here of Tribe Eremacy.
Tribe Eremacy champions, it is going on. As the rig was down, Giante was there for the cover. That's ex-Giante. In fact, Tribe Eremacy's is ex-Giante. But aside from that, yes, the full team is kind of into the safe. Champions, they're not only taking the fight with the Tribe Eremacy, but to a different team, Boom Esports as well. But wait, did I see a pan elimination on Alter Egos as a player? Oh my god. This is going absolutely menacing at this point. Everybody, if they're getting a knockdown, they're kind of getting a very, very toxic finish. And I love it. I'm not complaining. I love it. We need more of this. We need more of those pan eliminations, the knives and everything that we did see. Some of the games that actually played off like that, some early fights. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Another circle shift towards the south. Out in the complete open. There's only mountain ridges, the top of the mountains, where even Hora Esports is right now residing. That's the only cover that they're going to have, but it's a double-edged sword kind of thing. Right now, you're on the mountain. You're also being spotted up. On top of that, you're at the very northwestern side corner. You need to move in the circle, take another mountain ridge for yourself, then take the fight.
Yeah, that high positioning, especially in this phase, could be absolutely crucial for the teams to get the job done.
So far, DRX trying with the Yangon Galactic cause. Come on, we can do it. You can get some shots connected. They did. And on top of that, they also got some shots on them. So it's a back and forth. It's a trade-off going around. QXZZZ back to his minivan, changing his guns, changing his, I think, scopes. But boom, on our screen, 0 elimination. They're very close to the fight, but they have not yet taken any interest in any of the fight. But Team Secret, I see them close to DRS. Arena, on the other hand, they're also fighting into the kill feed that they go. Vampire, Arena, it's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Boom, taking an interest in champions so far. The shots, the connectivity, it's going. But Octa, you have to be very precise from this point because Keno, he also have a really great opportunity. But M249, I don't think you're going to be able to get a knockdown with that.
I mean, that's what would probably be happening if I was to hold the M249, but looking at Kino and what we've seen so far, that could definitely be on the board. DRS, though, they are going to be the first squad getting taken out of here. Down they go. An unfortunate turn of events coming through here for them. Now it's going to be Team Secret looking to ride that ridge as they are pushing through, getting into center zone. So a decent spot to take occupancy of. But now comes the big question, will they be able to hold onto the ridge? Because they got a pretty decent line of sight up to the north as well to the south. So will someone maybe sneak up on them coming through from that western side?
I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. And the amount of players that are staying alive in the teams, it's definitely... we can say possible, not like so far-fetched, but there we go, DRX, and we have the Yangon Galacticos fighting, getting a knockdown, getting some eliminations into the area. There's ERK4ST so far. Let's see the shots. Will they connect? Will they not connect? So far, Champion Esports, they were also surviving in the circle, but now they finally will have to change their locations, get into the next circle stage, into the safe zone. But I see Balja straight up pushing onto the Team Boom Esports. He's gonna get out of the car slowly but steadily. But oh, wait a second, did the car got stuck? The answer is no. The answer is still no. But okay, Keno. He has the chance. He has the chance, even with the M249. The way that he's getting those damages, that's a good connectivity right there. But one donkeys, Hora, it's a fight to see.
Yeah, we will find out soon where this is going to take us. Sky now getting rezzed on up. Yesterday we did see Hora flying down mountains, looking to see if they can get themselves situated. But now, Sleepy and the rest of the squad here pushing forward onto Voin Donkey. Bigger Gaycore just on the front line, sending out a few of the flashbangs, just looking to suppress the advances coming through from Hora, but that's not going to be enough as the send is there. Gaycore gets dropped right on down. Now the follow-up is going to come in here as we do see No Fear pushing on forward. That is going to be Voin Donkey, the next team down, but they're not out of the woods as BTR also comes rushing on forward. Hora needs to keep their heads on a swivel, need to keep that pacing going. DRX now going to be feeling a little bit of the heat here as well. As you can see, XQZZ now getting picked up and traded off. Down they go. No Fear, great opportunity, good angle. Still going to get into the zone and find a safe spot to call home for the time being.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely true, but 911 kind of low on that HP. He barely just manages to get into the safe side. He's also the last guy remaining, if I'm correct, as Sky Hora. He gets finished off. And with Hora being on the very edge of the momentum so far, that's 5 eliminations, but it's not going to help you because you're in no capable position to get even one more elimination for yourself. You even try to take the fight, you're going to be taken down, and that's exactly what's going to happen. DRX is going to take them down. Now, Sim9 on our screen with Yangon Galacticos being on the front lines. On the backside, there's Talon Esports right onto the bottom line of this mountain. Yangon fighting with Sim9, getting some of the players down. Yumiko is knocked out, finished off right there. But now, Yuhai, Mountaintop, once again, close is A1 as well. Oh my god, that's Deathstorm in the front line. He has been spotted, but can you get that good of a connectivity that the player can get knocked down? Oh my god, this is the time! Shoot at this! There we have it! That Storm gets taken down. It's a knockdown, but 11 bullets remaining. 11 bullets, only 10 now, 9 now. And I think the player might just survive, but barely manages to survive. Just a lone HP. He's not going to survive for too much time as Deathstorm gets a finisher. And Champion Esports, that's the 5th elimination. They're also going to have another win.
Yeah, the unfortunate part is that the DBS is not a long-range weapon, but you don't need it in this close-quarter engagement that Boom now finds themselves in. It is going to be Octa and Mastery already knocked on down, and with that, the entire squad gets swept away. Absolutely amazing showing. Triberry Missy out of here, Boom Esports out of here, Hura out of here. So this now opens up the gate for Alter Ego to try and climb to the very top of our standings. But it is going to be a very tough lobby to try and pull off a maneuver like that. Now it is going to be Team Secret. The squad currently occupying the 18th position, looking to see if they can get a little bit of magic now to come their way. 1 point already secured. So many more opportunities available to them. A1 Esports are going to be the next one down, as we do see Yangon taking them out, sending them right on out of here. But still, 10 squads remain. We've said goodbye to 8 of them so far. We've almost hit that halfway point of the available teams in this round. So let's see who's going to be the next one to be shipped out of here.
I mean, it's top 10. It's top 10, ladies and gentlemen. And with this, 32 players remaining. Everybody wants a piece of another one. Alter Ego just driving close to another player's location, finding them up and be like, okay, boop, we're done, we're going. Rosemary getting champions down, but Keno also is not going to sit idly right there. He's going to take Rosemary out as well, out of the commission. It's a knockdown on both sides. Alter Ego and Champions both need to get their players revved up as soon as possible. But where is Rosemary? Where is Rosemary situated at? This is the question for the players at this point, for us as well, because I cannot see him into the minimap. Sim9, Yangon Galacticos, no fight whatsoever. They're super close to the proximity of another one. So one wrong move, one more push, even from one ridge to another, that can absolutely give away their location, and maybe the shots will start to flow through.
Well, we'll find out soon whether or not they can keep themselves hidden, at least for the time being. But I think this region is going to be quite an interesting one, looking at how the teams currently find themselves situated. Alter Ego now coming to the realization that they might have to try and get off of this mountain. But there is a big threat looming just below them, and that, of course, is going to be E-Arena. Now, Daybot could definitely help alleviate a little bit of that pressure, a little bit of that tension, as we do have Alva moving up alongside them to bring in the necessary reinforcements. Vampire still going to be holding nice and steady just south there of Power Grid. BTR are going to be situated well within the Power Grid itself, so that will allow them a little bit of flexibility. But speaking about flexibility, look at the zone options the teams have available to themselves. Not a lot to work with here. You got quite a few mountains and a lot of dips, nooks and crannies for players and teams to hide in.
I mean, there's not a lot of places that you can hide on, and we have talked about this for the past circles that has been going on, but somehow the teams are still alive. The teams are still surviving. Alter Ego in the circle, close to Vampire, getting a knockdown on Rosemary once again. Another one from the team Alter Ego being taken down. That's 2 down and 2 more to go. The rest of the 2, they're going to go for the revive. They're going to go for that rescue. But the back angle, Bigatron, entering this vicinity. Champions Esports with 10 eliminations. It's also obliterated this match out. Vampire closing from one direction, Bigatron from another one. Both parties are going to shoot at Alva, and Alva, as soon as he's going to be taken down, it's over. Alter Ego out of the match, and there's a lot of climbs up and down into the leaderboard. Tribro Messi getting eliminated with 70 points and 1 in this match. 55 for a total of 4 and 6 in this match. Alter Ego with just 2, and the top three, they're still gonna stay the same, but with different points this time around. But BTR, they're still in this match. So far, 3 elimination. Talon Esports, 4-man, 0 points so far. 0 eliminations to their name. Secret is in front of them, and this can potentially be the first team to either get them the elimination points or be their ones.
Well, we are going to see whether or not they will be the elims or get those elims. In the meanwhile, it is going to be quite a bit of pressure now starting to mount, especially on towards the western side of zone. As you can see, just an absolute backed positioning over there. It's going to be Shield now just dipping out of that spray down as Team Secret now turns their focus onto the side of the squad, looking to see if they can make it go boom. But here we have it. Jigay quickly going in for that res. Talon having a pretty tough time getting themselves back up onto a slightly more elevated position. But I like Yuhai's angle there coming through from Sem9 up. Ooh, on the mountain. The blue zone is going to eat them alive, unfortunately. And with that, it is the end of Sem9. A few more players are going to start to crumble now as Shields gets picked on up. It is going to be Axel looking to defend. They do find that opening angle. 2 players left rather for the side here of Team Secret. There's going to be GK and Dockel at least on the front line looking to aggress. Well, actually, it's Dockel much further away. This is such a tough angle to try and kind of make their way through. But now Talon are going to be feeling a lot of the pressure. All those sprays, utilities coming in their direction. Yoru is going to be the next one to get picked on up. It's going to be Reboy left to try and defend their honor.
Oh my god, this is going good. This is definitely going good. Look at this, look at this. Talon gets eliminated. Yangon Galactica. So with this elimination, they're going to make all the lobby into the top 5. 15 players are remaining. 24 minutes have passed so far. Romeo Boy slowly, steadily pushing forward back to the mountaintop. 17 seconds before this stage even closes up. Stage number 7 commences. We do have to see what the stage number 7 is going to bring up. What's going to bring in for the team and for the Heat. BTR, Yangon Galacticos. There we go. Yangon receiving the damage this time. A grenade comes over from Arena all the way to the Secret, getting 1 player, 2 player down. Secret is down to the last. Ryzy also gets knocked down by the Vampires, and it's a knock and a confirmation in a single instance going around.
Now Optimus alongside Federal left to defend for the team, but we say goodbye to Team Secret as Arena comes in quite swiftly. Now pushing the overall tally here to 8 eliminations. They could very well finish on double digit, but we'll find out if that is going to be the play. Now it's going to be Yangon Galacticos prepping up a few utilities as they do look to push on forward. Federal is going to just peer over that ridge, finds a quick bit of an opening, just pushing that back onto the side here of Yangon Galacticos. Now Master Smile cooking up. Bernard Boy, oh, the headshots flying straight across the way. But not a good position here for Bigatron by Vitality to be in, as they will get absolutely obliterated. Off they go. BTR out of this match. So down to the final 3 we go. It's going to be E-Arena, Yangon Galacticos, and of course Vampire Esports. Yet to see where Vampire are going to look to get themselves situated, as they are the only squad here left with a full team. Now, 4-5-6. Just quickly trying to keep themselves in a safe spot, but that is not going to pay off as Lazarus has spotted them and sends all the shots in their direction. Now, E-Arena down to Turney K, right? Turney, the only one left to try and make a difference. Not quite sure if they are going to be able to pull off that res, but they are going to look to send out the smokes as 4-5-6 gets sent off. Lazarus now just riding the ridge. This could be that golden ticket, that golden play. Oh, what an angle though. Turney K with the nades coming in. Could still turn this whole engagement on its head. But Vampire, they're going to try and hold on as best they can.
They're trying their level best against a single player, and the single player is actually getting a lot of trouble, is making a lot of trouble for these guys. Turney K throwing another grenade. Look at the HP of Vampires Esports' player. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of damage going on. But Turney K slowly approaching the situation. He has that flashbang in hand, but he knows now that JJ finally is going to move away from this area. It's a safe angle. corners. He's going to be spotted. He goes back to the area. Circle's going to close in within 40 seconds. And Miaula, in the meanwhile, from the top of this same mountain, it's Miaula getting knocked down. Yangon Galacticos is the reason of Vampires not one, almost two of their players' demise. Romeo Boy is there. Master Smile is going to be taken down by Onzen Excess. Mernet Boy cooking those grenades. He's going to throw at Miaula, but no, it's going to be on towards that winner, JJ. And there we have it. That's the second one down of the Vampire. This is the time, Irina. You have to take the lead. You have to take the third-party angle. Mernet Boy also getting taken down. It's Master Smile being knocked down as well. Romeo Boy, the only hope versus Irina. And on the other side, Vampire Esports, it's a 1 versus 1 versus 2. But we can safely assume that Vampire is going to come back strong with 4 men standing, as they have enough time, enough opportunity to get their Viva down to all of their players.
Yeah, it does seem like the odds are favoring them, at least for the time being. It's going to be tough to compete against a full 4 squad, as it's now going to be that Reds on the side of Vampires looking to bring their fight, bringing the fight back. But not quite sure whether or not Yangon and E-Arena are going to be able to survive the onslaught. Romeo Boy now just hiding in the vehicle. It is going to be smoking. The shots are flying on through as Romeo wraps it up. Romeo Boy now the last hope here for Yangon Galacticos, and there goes all the hope as Vampire Esports come in clutch, get their hands on that winner chicken dinner, and adding quite a bit of a tally to their point situation. They came into this match starting off with 24 points, all the way down in 13th position, and we could see quite a big move all the way up to, I think, very close to the top 5.
That's a very big jump going around, that we can safely assume for sure. But yes, the single match, how many points is it going to accumulate for these players is the big question. Onzenex, JJ, Lazarus, Miaula. The 2-3 players that got knocked down, there was a point in time where the whole of Vampire Esports was kind of scared on, okay, what's going to happen? But they beautifully made it out alive, made it out surviving, and getting that winner chicken dinner. MVP-wise, I think it's definitely going to be someone from the, Vampire Esports, and it is 4 eliminations and 1,006 damage, 27 minutes of survival time going around to the name of Lazarus.
Yeah, well done to the side of Vampire Esports, coming in quite victorious on the back of this match. Absolutely phenomenal showing. 1,006 damage. That's a lot, right? That's 10 eliminations worth of damage being dealt here by Lazarus. Curious as to who claimed all those elims, as we're missing 6 somewhere along the way. But, of course, that is just the MVP position for this game. Now we are going to be venturing up into those overall match rankings. And here we have it, 18 total points going over to the side of Vampire, 10 of which coming through from that winner chicken dinner. Yangon Galacticos are going to be claiming that second place, right? 15 points to the name. E-Arena adding an additional 13 to their overall. Champions Esports, though, I like this play coming through from them. They started off the day all the way in 16th position. Now coming through with double-digit figures. That is what we love to see.
We most have to see that. That's just the match ranking. 8 elimination, 18 total points. Yangon Galacticos with 15, 13 for Arena. Champions even having 10. That's a great number for Champions. They were at the second bottom of the chart. But with this 10 points, they're finally going to cross the threshold of 20 points and finally is going to be into the same race as everybody else. Maybe at the hashtag number 12, maybe at the hashtag number 15, up until 15, we can safely assume. Secret having 7, Bigatron with 8. Aura with the 6, 4 for Sem9, Talon with 3 alongside of DRX, Alter Ego with the 2, and Boom with the 2. There's only 2 names, DRS and RRQ. With the donut this time, and I don't know what has happened to them. These have been the name that have been somewhat on the consistent side. Going into the overall, 71 points to Triber Messi. First 5, top 5, they're completely staying still. But the points are different: 71, 61, 57, 56, and 55 for the Triber, Messi, Hora, Alta Ego, Bigatron, and Eorina, respectively. But aside from that, Vampire Esports, that's 6 placements of the jump. That's a huge one for these guys. 42 points going from all the way from hashtag number 13 to the hashtag number 6. Close one more step and they will be into the top 5. Yangon, 5 steps climbing with 39 points, 37 for Sem9, and A1 with 35.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Yangon and Vampires were tied on 24 points apiece. But as we take a look at the second page, it is going to be a slight bit of an upwards move coming through there from Champions. As you mentioned, they started off with not that many points to their name, but here we go, adding the 10 onto the 12 they had. Does move them up into 15th, and of course Team Secret then also adding a few more to their overall tally. But it is a pretty tough day. Over onto the second page, Ryan. You definitely want to try and get yourself quite comfortably situated on page number 1, right? That first page is going to be the business end that you need to try and aim for. But there we have it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Done and dusted, secured. First game of the day out of the way. We have the rest to come. 5 more games.
5 more games to go. And we do have to see what's going to happen in that. But ladies and gentlemen, for right now, as the first match is done and dusted, we will be going for a highlighted break. Do not go anywhere. Stay with us. Make sure you hit that like and the subscribe. And we will see you after this highlight break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are back. The final day, the match number 1, it's done and dusted. But heading over to the match number 2, this one will be a wrangle. And introducing ourselves, we have done this previously and we're going to do it again. It is Torix, and with me once again, it's the one and only on the left corner, DK, on my right corner on the other hand. But yes, DK it is, ladies and gentlemen, with us joining as the caster talent desk. But DK, match number 1, Miramar was not that aggressive, but yes, aggressive it was at the end. But Erangel, will it be aggressive or it's going to go straight just like this Miramar?
I'm going to say yes, it's going to get aggressive. Based on the points and what these teams have been bringing into that first game, I think they are going to look to ramp it up considerably. I mean, especially looking at what Vampire Esports did, right, making quite a bit of a leap with regards to their overall points positioning. So they are so close to gaining entry into the top 5, right? They only need 13 more points to play catch up and, you know, contest E-Arena for that 5th spot. So I'm expecting the teams in 6th, 7th, really to bring it in, but also it goes far as to say that I think Sem9 are also going to look to up the ante coming into this next match, because again, they are so close, but it is going to require a little bit of work to get those teams moved into the prize money share.
I mean, that is absolutely true. It's just this fight going around. We do have to see who's going to be on the top for that money share, for that prize pool, a section that they have to grab for themselves. But aside from that, DK, there's a lot of other factors going around as well. Like the momentum on the teams, on the even pressure situation going around, as there's only 5 more matches and this pressure is super intense because of that on all of these teams. We will be heading into our match, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as I said that, we have actually gone straight up to the angle, but the plane line, it's dangerous, it's very deadly. DK, Primorx all the way to the Milta power plant. The south side is favored, but the northern side, the Rozhok, Yasnaya, Georgia Pool, oh, it's not accessible unless you have some vehicles on you.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with legging it a little bit, right? Just run until you get a car, hop in it, and off you go. So we'll see who's going to be in the race to get themselves situated towards the north. But of course, it's going to depend quite heavily on what the zone is going to be doing, right? Will these teams need to move all the way to there, or are they going to find themselves blessed with a different positioning? We'll find out soon what exactly the answer to that will be. Now, yesterday, when we had a same zone, same looking kind of flight path to this, Alter Ego stepped up to the plate, locking in that winner chicken dinner. So we'll see where the zone is going to be going as we get ready to move on.
Yeah, sure, DK. The circle, it has actually gone to the very on the western side. But yes, judging from all of this scenario that's going on, Quarry region is actually accessible for the teams. Vampire Esports, it's a duo split. In fact, it's a duo solo split. Quarry has 1 player. Morgs has 2. And Fairy Pier on top of that also has a single player for them as well. It's a complete split. But one more thing. I'm seeing Wind Donkeys, RRQ on our mini screen and on the map as well in the land of the Senvoska military base. They're in the military base. They're taking the fight. They are kind of close, but not that close that the fight actually initialized. They are hearing each other's footsteps and everything. They're making their moves. They're making their way. First of all, they need some decent number of arsenal, the vest, the helmets, all those utilities that they can actually use against on the team as well. But Lapat actually got some shots, as his vest is also damaged and his HP's on the 75.
Well, let's see whether or not Lapat can bounce back from this. Not the worst spot to be in, but still want to try and fight as good of a fight as they can. As it is going to be Voin Donkey now full sending it. They are getting aggressive. They want to see if they can squeeze right up into this. So now the opportunity is there.
Yes, the opportunity is definitely there. But the rush is not happening. He's finally going on forefront into the area and getting a knockdown straight up. But 17 out of 17 teams are still alive. There we go. Ark going on. Getting a knockdown. Another one and one donkeys. It's basically a 2 versus 2 going around. Gaykar in the back lines. He's on the full HP. But Potato, he's the only guy with one bullet remaining. 2 health. The jump shot from Gaykar is definitely going to get a knockdown. It will take him down in this regard as well. But this both sides being onto the very suicidal grenade, RRQ, they knew that the player was getting knocked down, so why not take at least one person with them?
Well, the fight's far from over. It's going to be Voin Donkey now looking to see if they can close this one up. The HP bar's not looking all too good, but it is going to be RRQ now looking to come in rushing. They know they are so close, and they do follow through. Voin Donkey is going to be the first team to get taken out of here. At least they don't go back empty-handed. Still 2 eliminations to their name, so it will help in the overall points.
Overall point-wise, yes, kind of good. And they need to have a lot of points to be into the top 5. First thing, avoid donkeys. The chances that they had, even securing that top 5 or even into the top 10. It's kind of not looking good anymore. 21 points, yes, it's good. 2 more points, that's 23 out of this match. 14 placement is kind of close to you, even in the next match. Even 31. At least up until 35, it's good. But you have to think of the fact that in this game, these teams, the rest of the teams that have 35, 37, 32 even points, they're still playing. They need to get more and more points for themselves. And if this thing is going straight up like this, then that means there's going to be a lot of possibilities that we might see some 40 points for all of these 30 series names, maybe even 60 points for all those 50 series names. Triber Messi, my eyes are completely on them, on how they're going to play this match at the very least, because right now they're on the number 1. Previous match, it did not go good for these guys. It was not that good. So with 71 points, just a single point into the previous match, it's going to be a very, very hard thing for them to accumulate more and more points even in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. So let's see whether or not Rosemary is going to make anything happen for their squad. Just holding on the edge. A very spread out positioning coming through here from Alter Ego. Definitely taking all the available angles they can.
I mean, this is the start of the game, 6 minutes into the game, and it has kind of been like the exact Miramar, right? As one team got eliminated early on, after that the rest of the parties were kind of into the stalemate. Triber Messi is the only team right now that is I'd say kind of into the vicinity where they're taking the blue damage. And wait a second, Stallball. Okay, that changes everything. 3,000 meters of being away from the circle. The main line was on the south. How are these guys on the northern?
Well, they actually dropped all the way in Yasnaya Poliana, so it makes sense that they got a little bit curious and decided to move further up towards the northern side. Being more than 3 kilometers away from zone, that is a very risky decision to make. Not quite sure what the strategy or what the plan is, as we know the zone is sitting all the way down to that far southwestern side. But we'll find out in due course where exactly they are going to be looking to go. In the meanwhile, Talon, they are going to be just kind of inching their way closer and closer to the zone. Not going to be coming through too aggressively, as we did see them not too far away from here. Now, Champions coming through with their rotation on that southern side, looking to push a little bit closer to the zone. Maybe going for a position over into Ferry Pier or somewhere in the surrounding area. But now, Talon, they have to look where they can actually move into a secure angle and potentially line themselves up for a few easy pickups.
I mean, this is some of the easy pickups may be on its way, but it all depends on the rotation. It all depends upon the mentality if the actual team wants to get into that aggressive stances or take those fights with them or not. But so far, secret it is, ladies and gentlemen, versus Picatron by Vitality. Vitality getting a lot of damage on Lil Ben. He is kind of low on that HP, but GK, in the midst of all of this chaos, he's like, okay, I don't want to do anything. I'm just going to refuel my car. I'm just going to move and skedaddle out of here. After that, Subai is here. Finally, Little Ben gets taken down. The first circle's also closing on. 10 seconds it is, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna have our first circle close on. Ho, ho, ho. Go south. Please go into the water. I really want to see the water circle, and if it does go, I'm gonna be overjoyed. But nope, 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 nope. Me and the circle never gets along.
I thought you were gonna say Merry Christmas or something when you came in with the ho ho ho. But hey, it might be Christmas. It might be treats for someone along the way. It is gonna be a very back dump zone that we can see there. E Arena are gonna be moving in from that western front. Then, of course, Boom Esports coming through from the north. Gutgun Chopsticks, that is going to be the place to be. As you can see, BTR and Talon all now starting to move on forward. We see the players there from Team Secret also looking to find a little slice of the action here. But Champion Esports, they're going to come rolling up right behind the squad there from Sem9. So that could provide them with a golden opportunity. But speaking about the hunts, this is what we are seeing come through here from the side of Alter Ego, rotating up right behind A1. And this could maybe spell a bit of disaster now for A1.
I mean, this can be disastrous. This can definitely be disastrous. The players are chasing up, but Alter Ego is gonna get stuck first and foremost. And Rosemary, come on, you need to get out, get those shots connected on the players. Dabo, he's also closed onto the A1 side. Arena versus Secret, it's happening to a different direction. On the other side, we have Rowdy. Let's see what Rowdy is going to be capable of. The Dabo shooting through the window. Not getting any kind of connectivity. The rest of the players from the Alter Egos, they're also going to push in. All of them from the back line, getting a knockdown on the Rowdy. And with this, A1's going to lose their first player.
Well, they only have one left, so things are looking pretty tough now for the side here of A1. As you can see, Sinister absolutely surrounded by teams on all sides. So we got DRX, we got BTR, we got Talon, and we got Molly's now starting to make its way in here. Is Sinister going to be able to survive? We don't quite know, but they are probably going to try everything that they can to make it through this, at least into that next stage. But the blue is going to start to constrict, and this will force the players to move further and further afield. Talent also starting to move a little bit closer. You can see off in the distance there. BTR riding on that ridge, but Sinister holding steady. No clear way out of this just yet.
So far, it's up till until the no and DRS example getting those damages, but Swaffle Ryu surviving, getting a safe into the angle, but example, another shot. Swaffle Ryu, he's low, but still managing to manage to survive, but not for long, ladies and gentlemen. He finally gets taken down by the DRS, and that's the first elimination that DRS is going to receive. Last match, DRS did got eliminated early on, so that was one thing for the DRS side. But this time around, DRS, they're not only just going to survive, they're also going to come into the clutch plays, getting that first initial elimination near the bridge side. And now you can only see Cyclone in the whole of the circle, being into the outside of the blue, not taking the blue damage, but the rest of them, they're taking the blue. Triber Messi versus Boom versus E-Arena versus Team Secret might occur. On the eastern corner, there's Talon, DRX, and Champions alongside of Sem9 that has a possibility of starting that fight, starting that engagement. So it's just that one small mistake that's going to start the whole chain reaction of those eliminations.
Yeah, and things are looking to get quite challenging right here. Vampire, though, I like their position up into Quarry, will allow them quite a bit of a vantage point to play down onto the teams now, moving into that more centered positioning. But this is where the pressure is going to start to mount. As you can see, Sem9 looking to squeeze in over onto the edge. They are, of course, not alone in the area, as you've got so many teams now all converging. But it is going to be Secret looking to kick the party off, as it is going to be Atomic now to get traded. The rest of Champions now looking to reposition, as this is not the most optimal position for them to fight from. Tribe Eremacy, rather, down in the swamp area, going to be looking to ride the ridge line, spotting out a few potential angles, trying to see if they can maybe get the res up to rig, but doesn't seem like that is going to be an easy one to pull off. DRS now also finding their way on through. They have spotted Sem9 But the shots are all over the place. There's going to be example to get the hit up in towards Strexy. Cyclone now going to be doing as their name suggests, right? Starting to move in circles. And this will allow them the next position, the next pathway to find their way onto the same 9 angle here.
I mean, this is just the start. This is just the start of the engagement. But DRS in the kill feed, you can see them ramming some players with the cars, getting their soul pushed away with that car ram down. But aside from that, Tribro Messi, Yangon, it's happening. No fear from Hora Esports. Wait a second, that's a third party right there, ladies and gentlemen. E-Arena versus M9 as well. Fourth party commencing up. E-Arena getting some of the players of the SEM9, and Arcurio in the midst of that by the hand of Team Secret absolutely gets decimated. 14 teams remaining. Stage number 3 closing on. 25 more seconds. Yangon Galacticos throwing the smokes and all the utilities that they can possibly accumulate, but they have to be also very of the fact that these smokes, you have to utilize them to push on the team rather than just leaving the premises.
Oh, leaving the premises is what Yangon Galacticos will start to do here. As you can see, their numbers now really taking quite a bit of a hit there. But here we are, right? We've got, what I believe that's 13 teams remaining and not a lot of positions for them to try and fill up, as we still have a few teams on the outlying territories. You can see DRX, of course, on that far eastern side. But Talon is going to be the next team to get sent away. DRX pretty battered now as they start to advance, pushing forward onto DRS here. And so many angles to be played. Again, no clear easy line to choose as it is now. Samza cooking up a few nades, looking for the opportunity. DRX, they do have XQZ down. It's going to be Big Papa moving in for the res, but these utilities are coming in hot. Big Mama, Big Papa, and Nia going to try and hold up the fort. DRS now, they mean business. They are going to try and rush it. They are going to try and clean it up and get their foothold into the zone.
Ouch, a third party! Boom Esports coming in from a different angle, taking one of the DRS. The second one also on the board. Just look at the Cyclone's HP, but Yetauta finally pushing on, getting a knockdown, getting an instant confirmation right there. That's the fourth elimination that DRS is going to have so far, but without any single casualty. One player, yes, that is kind of like onto the open side area. He's definitely going to maybe receive that elimination to his name, unless he finally gets that revive. But you can see the Boom Esports closing up into the side of DRX and DRS as well. So far, Ponbit staying into the Harry Potter at the very corner of the circle. And one thing that I do love about this location that Boom Esports have secured for themselves is the fact that you can actually see they're holding the fort. They're actually not letting anybody. As soon as the DRX, they're going to try to get in that circle, into that safe zone. They're absolutely going to get all those shots connected on them. Samza on the horse. This is not a good move. This is definitely going to haunt you at one point in time, as Yummy Yosin finally shooting at Samza. Samza finally been taken down by the Boom's mastery right there. But whoa. That example just pulled up a Uno reverse move that knows you're gonna get taken down. You're going down right there. And with the T97, he's gonna get another one. The rest of the DRS, they're pushing up. And Boom Esports maybe can get that elimination. The answer is no, as Vampire also comes into the play from the backside to not only taking down DRS, but Boom Esports as well.
I mean, these fights just continue to flow as we now have BTR also stepping to the plate. So Vampire will have a short-lived victory as they've moved in. They got a few eliminations, but now they have to face the music. E-Arena also going to be rotating up along that southern side. So 3 teams now fighting for control of the compound. This Wizard Tower has never received this much love. As you can see, Snape now also just running players all over the place. 30K going to be hiding in the wing. E-Arena slowly advancing. Optimus with a nice optimal position here. Vampire Esports. Ooh, off they go out in 10th place. 4 eliminations up. 20K taking a little bit of damage, but E-Arena not going to be spreading it out too much.
Come on, Bigatron, you had the full control right there. The grenades that you were throwing at E-Arena, you could have taken them down. But no, The grenade missed up. Mini screen, you can see still BTR trying to take down the players. Hora Esports on the other side of the Alter Egos. The fight has commenced. Debo, the one and only player remaining for the Alter Ego side. SM9 is also into the similar situation as a solo player. DRX is on a similar situation as a solo player, but Bigatron, Ryzy pushing up on Nia. Let's see, Nia versus Ryzy. Who's gonna win it over? Who's gonna get it up for themselves? But ladies and gentlemen, as we are heading into almost the final stages of this match number 2, I would humbly request every single one of you to go hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, because it's every single month that we're gonna see the Lidoma Asia Showdowns. There's gonna be Season 4, Season 5s all around, and it's not just the PUBG Mobile. There's a multiple games that gets broadcasted, and if you don't want to miss any kind of action, make sure you hit that subscribe. But back to the game. Secret it is in the shack. And is that all 3 of them? Yes, that's all 3 of them in this small of a shack.
Yeah, that's not a good spot to be in, right? One well-placed nade could definitely end the run for them, especially looking at 456 just on that eastern side. So, yeah, talk about a hot position. Firen, though, is going to be the last one left as SM9 will now get eliminated. Off they go. Champion Esports looking to rise to the occasion. 1.2 they name. They only have 2 players left. Balja is going to be trying to see if they can get rest on up. But now Jiggle here from the side of Hora, getting ready for a little bit of a move. Hora, they've been keeping it quiet. 4 eliminations up, though. As they start to move through from the northern side, it is going to be BTR rushing right in alongside them. The push is there. Will they defend? Are they going to rotate away instead? Seems like the rotation is going to be the option here. Oh, Sky getting picked up as Snape snipes them out with the AUG, just whipping them out of that vehicle. Now, BTR by Vitality. Bigatron getting ready for the move as they start to push up in the north. Quite a bit of an opportunity here available to them. Good coverage as they now try to find that next approach to take. But of course, them and Hora still well without outside of that zone. It's going to be DRX, the next one down. So 7 teams remain. That is all that we have to show for this game. Stage number 5 is going to be coming to an end pretty soon. Now, the utilities finding their way all the way down into Federal. It's Hora Esports left with a 2-piece, making so much noise out on the edge here.
Oh my god, the top 7 is going so intense. Another circle shift is also coming in. Hora Esports, a BTR. There's on the backside another name that can potentially take these guys or the BTR down as well. Nofia finally going to throw a grenade. Is going to push for the player to actually come close to him, but it's a DBS versus S12K, and the DBS wins it up. Optimus gets the prime elimination, but instantly he gets obliterated from the backline as AST, Tri-Barrel Messi, makes their way into this itchy third party. There's a 4th party going around as well, as Triber Messi also gets taken down. Champions Esport is in the proximity as well, and every single one of these top 7 teams, they're in the small radius of a circle, meaning the moment the circle's gonna start to close up, everybody's gonna be into a very panic mode. Earina 456 getting a knockdown. Earina 30k getting Ryzy with the car knockout. Oh my god, it's everyone that's either scattered or everyone that's constantly taking the fight.
I mean, there's one team that's looking pretty good right here, and that is going to be E-Arena, the only squad with a full 4-player roster surviving, and they've not taken too much damage. Those HP bars are looking pretty good at this point. BTR, they had the numbers favoring them, but it has all started to turn around. Down to a duo they go, but they have been able to find 7 eliminations. Now, very spread out. Not quite sure whether or not Federal is going to be able to survive this. Snape also in a very sticky situation. As you can see, the Saints are starting to find their way on through. It is going to be Tony K that will get taken down right then and there. BTR still riding the ridge, still in this fight. They have not settled just yet. Tribe Eremisi rather, just in that center zone. Looking pretty good. They also have a full squad up, and they have a strong angle to play off of. But it's all going to ride on whether or not they can actually make that work in their favor. 30k is going to get taken on down as Federal secures their 2nd elimination. And of course, it is 8 overall. Snape getting sniped by that nade as it rains on down. Tribe Eremisi now getting right into the swing of things as they start to fight back, looking to leverage their position against what is left of BTR.
It's going again. Haywire. I see a lot of solos. 2 solos. BTR, Alter Egos. E-Arena has duo. Okay, they might change into a solo in a short while because of the position that they were in outside of the circle. Situation will definitely go not into their favor. But Team Secret, it's happening. A knockdown comes into the play. BTR, E-Arena, 456 gets knocked down as well. There we go. Talking about the solos. E-Arena instantly gets obliterated. BTR gets Mormon out as well. 4 eliminations, and with this, it's all over. BTR having 10 eliminations. Highest in this lobby so far, and not only the highest, but look at the overall ranking on our right side. Not only they have taken off away from Hora Esports and Alter Ego, they have successfully secured more and more points than them. Hora Esports at 67. There's still the possibility of getting that number 2 back for themselves, but they have overtaken Alter Egos completely.
Yep, there could be quite a bit of a leap coming through here from Bigatron by Vitality as they now start to take aim onto Team Secret. Team Secret, though, I like what they've been doing so far, getting more points on board. But you can see now, unfortunately, the aim is just absolutely on point as Federal locks in another spray down. But you got to get ahead of that blue, otherwise those 11 points are not going to sit so well. We want to try and capitalize on good, strong finish here as well, at least within the top 3. Not quite sure if Federal is going to be able to pull that off as they now take so much fire quickly, just trying to dip out of harm's way. At least managing to survive for the time being. But Dockel sending it out, and down they go.
Oh my god, came straight up from all of those fights, surviving all of them, back to where they came from against Team Secrets. And Secret, they definitely avenged their own teammate. But Champions Esports, you missed the crucial shot, dog. No. Now your location is revealed. You're outside of the blue zone. You're going to receive a heavy casualty on you. The moment you're going to try to exit this area, get into the car, or leave the premises, it's all over for you from that point onward. But Balja, he's going to leave the warehouse, the shack, for himself, and just going to move into the backline area. But Champions, Alter Egos, they're close. Hora Esports, as a solo player, they're also into the top 5. 10 players are remaining. 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 3, potentially. Or it can go up to 2 versus 4 full squad. It's a full squad of Tribe Arrow Messi with 3 eliminations, having the very dead center of the circle. Anyone that's even trying to get into this area in the waters, they're gonna step foot, and Tribe Arrow Messi is instantly gonna take them down.
I just saw Gyante coming through with an AMR, right? So there could be quite a big boom happening in this zone somewhere. I don't want to be on the receiving end of those hits, though, but it's going to be Daybot trying to survive, trying to ride out the storm as Champion Esports sending out quite a few utilities, trying to pop them out of this building. Ooh, a little bit of a bait and switch here, as Daybot is going to be firing off shots, looking to see if they can pull them in, draw them nearer to get the jump on them. But it does seem like Champion Esports are going to go for the flank. They're not going to fall for the trap just yet. Yep, there we go. Very quick and easy play as they do take out Daybot. And with that, we are down to the final 4. 2 solos versus 2 jam-packed squads. Now looking to go in for that showdown. It is going to be the side here of Tribe. Eremisi taking a very controlling position in the zone. I like the spread that they have. But now Champion Esports looking to see if they can contest this. Dockel still way off in the distance. Could still play quite a big role in this match.
Whoa, do I see an AMR in the hand of Gyante? No way, no freaking way. 1 shot, and that's going to be a very hard-hitting one on you. But 5 bullets, only 2 in the back. Okay, there we go. I thought for a second that's only 5 loaded, and that's all that he has. But 40 bullets onto the other hand, the QBZ, with 127 into the backpack as well. He's ready. He's locked and loaded. But throwable-wise, he's not. He only has a single Molotov, a flash, 5 smoke grenades. And they're not going to help them that much. But yes, in the circle, being in the circle, stage number 8 is closing on, being on to the stage number 9. Oh, there we go. It's a Christmas for Tribe Arrow Messi. Going around 1 player. And Balja is down. Doc can maybe seal that away, but no, he misses every shot. Keno also gets taken down. Doc's location has been revealed. That's Keno, knockdown. It's going to be an obliteration on the guy, and as Team Secret's closing on slowly and steadily, it's a 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus a 4 scenario. More go on, it's gonna hit the player. The second shot will not, and he will deny his elimination, but nope, he's not let the deny goes over as Rig gets the final bullet connected on towards the players. It's 1 versus 1. Hura Esports versus the full squad of Tribe Aero Messi. There we go. The spray's going, but the grenade's finally going to get a connection. Rig gets the elimination. That's 6. Tribe Aero Messi gets a knockdown as a jiggle. He's ready. Giante is down. The AMR player is on his knees, ladies and gentlemen. Hura throwing all the utilities that they can possibly accumulate, a custom at this point, and jiggle. No connection. Come on, man. Every single utility is either too further away or you don't even have the idea that the player was close to you, and Delta comes in, gets that a shot, and with this, it's a winner chicken dinner. 8 elimination, I do believe so, for the Tribe Aero Messi, 18 total points.
Well, they came into the match sitting at the top of the leaderboard, and now they just asserted their dominance, ensuring that they stay at the top, at least for the time being. Hura Esports trying to clutch it out, trying to see if they can come in with maybe a cheeky steal there. But unfortunately, Tribe Aero Messi decided that they will not. They locked it in, and Giante coming through with a few of those AMR shots as well. Love to see it. But now the big question is going to be, who will be our MVP, right? There's been a few players that were up for the running in this past game. So, yeah, maybe Riggs can get their third one. They could be right there on the board. We'll find out as we hop into that graphic.
I mean, I really want it to be Trix because that means he will have 3 consecutive MVPs into the side. But Federalis is the guy. 5 eliminations, 864 damage, and Bigatron by Vitality. Even though they couldn't secure the winner chicken dinner, they couldn't secure that much of a good placement. Elimination-wise, this team was top-notch. 23 minutes of survival time. They go, but with 5 individual elimination to Federalis, it's a great start.
Yeah, definitely a strong finish coming through by Bigatron by Vitality. But now taking a look at the match rankings, it is going to be Team Aero Messi, Tribe Aero Messi rather, finishing up in pole position with 17 points to their name. Bigatron by Vitality coming in clutch with 11 eliminations, awarding them 13 total points. Hura Esports, Team Secret, doing a good job, also finishing strong on the double digits.
They definitely did. Bigatron by Vitality, 13, 10 Hura, 10 Secret, Champions with 7, Alter Ego with the 7, 7 for the DRX, DRS with 8, in fact 6 points, E-Arena, 5, 4 for the Vampire, Boom, and RRQ. But, situation is going really down now. Win Donkey with just a 2, but Sem9, Talon, Yangon, and A1. Not a single point in this match. As we're heading into our very last 4 matches, we're seeing a lot of difficulties for these bottom line teams. Now we're seeing a lot of zeros going around. Tribe Aero Messi, Hura Esports, on the number 1 and number 2 they go. Bigatron by Vitality taking down Alter Ego from 1 step down, getting 69 total points, making themselves submit into the top 3. Alter Ego now into the 4, 64 points, 60 for E-Arena. Vampire, same placement, 46 points, 40 for DRS, with 3 placements climbing up from second chart to the first one. Same for the DRX, second chart to the first one on hashtag number 8 with 39 points. But Yangon Galacticos, this is going to hurt you because 39 points still in this match, being taken down 2 more placements. You're at the very edge of the first chart now.
Yeah, not a single point coming in for them in this last game, but we got to take a look and see what happens over on page number 2. So 39 points is going to be where we close out the top 9. Let's see what will hold over on towards that second page. Of course, DRS, they were at the top of this page. Now it is going to be Sem9 taking their place, of course, being joined there by A1 Esports, Alpha 7, Talon, as well as the rest of the squads here. Team Secret, though, coming in with an upwards move alongside Champion Esports. But unfortunately, as we've seen, Unless they can make some insane magic happen, it might be a little bit too late. But 29 points to try and catch up to the 60 points that we have for top 5, that is quite a big gap.
That definitely is quite a big gap. And covering that gap in 4 more matches, it's going to be super difficult, but definitely possible. I do love Alpha 7's gameplay so far. Look at this. They've only played 5 matches throughout this whole thing, and they're still within the top 15. But 2 matches have been done and dusted. Miramar, Vampire, Wrangle, Cryber, Messi. Now moving on to the match number 9. That will be our Miramar match once again. We're definitely going to see some more clashes, more action going around for all of these teams. But for that, we still have to wait for a short bit of time. While we're at it, why don't you guys hit that like button and make sure you also are subscribing to the channel. And there's also that platform.lidoma.com where you can go, register your squad, win the LC that you can redeem for the prize of money, for the actual cash for yourself. So do that while we take a very short highlighted break, guys. See you after this highlight break.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Asia Showdown Season 3, the final day. Of course, we've wrapped up our first 2 matches. Game number 8, done and dusted. And as we saw, a beautiful winter chicken dinner coming through there from Tribe Eremisi. Of course, my name is DK, and I am joined by Torix, aka /Annie for now, moving forward. We've got a new Torix in the building, but yeah, so we are going to be hopping into those games. Now, Annie, you've been watching the games. You've been seeing what these teams have been up to so far. Do you have any potential predictions or any things that you think could be happening as we move into our second Murmur of the day?
Well, I just catched the second game for today, so what I can really say about this, and with the statistics from yesterday as well, I mean, there's not one completely consistent team, so, you know, I don't really have any big, like, very confident guesses as to what's gonna happen in the next game, but I'm really seeing Tribe Aromancy being, you know, they had a good run, they had a good snowball, so I'm hoping that they have a good game in this, you know, next map.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big thing to look out for, to see whether or not they can keep that consistency going. Of course, sitting with a glorious 17-point lead over the team in second place. It does put a little bit of pressure on Hora Esports to see if they can maybe bring in some kind of a response. But I think moving into Miramar, there's going to be a lot that will be revealed, as we've seen quite a few teams actually step up to the plate. Of course, the last Miramar we had, Vampire Esports rose to the occasion, got their hands on that winner chicken dinner. But the last Miramar of yesterday is where we saw Tribe Eremisi step up with a winner chicken dinner themselves. And also the Miramar before that, they had a very strong finish. Not quite the winner chicken dinner, but they ended up at the top of the points. So I'm curious as to whether or not A1 is going to decide to really come in strong moving into this next match, because they actually still have quite a bit of a gap to try and close if they are looking to not only get themselves over onto the first page, but also to be in the running for that top 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be interesting to see. Hopefully we see that happening in this next map. But you did mention Tribe Eremisi. Did they like consistently go really well with Miramars? Maybe, you know, this is their stronghold map, and I believe we're gonna be moving on to Miramar next. Will we?
Yeah,
So
we will indeed.
Yeah, I mean, that's really crazy. So that's gonna be exciting. I mean, I that are gonna be rooting for AST right now, but of course, once again, anything can happen, and we're gonna be moving on to this next map. This is match number 9 for day 2. I mean, for the grand finals, rather. I believe this is match number 3 for today, but match number 9 of the grand finals, and we'll be seeing that flight path quite biased towards the north. So we're gonna expect a lot of teams won't be making it towards the southern part, such as in Valle de Mar and everything else. Los Leones maybe sooner or later once the teams get their vehicles, but for now I think everyone's just kind of going to their drop-off places. Lots of teams going towards the south, but there are some teams going to the north as well.
Yeah, Andy, a lot of the teams here going for pretty much the same old that we've seen over all the previous Miramars. So curious to see what that zone is going to be doing. The previous one we had went a little bit more towards the western side. Again, not fully committing onto that. But now the tension is building as the teams are getting ready to get themselves spread out. Not seeing any crazy hot drops coming in just yet, but the zone has been revealed, and it's going to be taking us all the way down to Chumacera. And this is going to be a very interesting add-on to this game.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, you know, it's just going to add some spice to the game, since we saw that flight path is all the way towards northeast perhaps, and then that circle just goes down to southwest, and with Chumacera over there, a lot of teams weren't even able to get near Chumacera during the first drop battle. We're here, speaking of first, I think we see our first blood right now. That's 67 players left standing. That's quite a huge hit on the number of players, and it's only been 2 minutes. That's absolutely crazy.
We've seen this game finish in 15 minutes or 16 minutes previously, so there could be a lot that could be happening right here. The last time that we saw the zone move down to this general area, down on towards the southern side of the map, was yesterday, all the way back also in match number 3. Then we saw A1 Esports rise to the occasion, securing themselves that winner-winner chicken dinner, doing so with 2 eliminations. But Bigatron by Vitality got 13 eliminations, one more than what Tribe Eremacy was able to secure. And as we saw, looking at those overall standings, of course, there is still going to be a little bit of a competition coming through from Bigatron by Vitality. They are a few points behind, yes, but they could definitely look to close that gap. They need about 19 points to catch up here, maybe less. My math might be wrong, but they do need quite a few. So we'll find out pretty soon what their approach is going to be. But for the time being, it is going to be DRS Gaming horsing around a little bit, right? Looking to get themselves situated just north there of Hacienda del Patron. And again, a nice region to move into. We didn't see a lot of teams really moving into the area. And of course, Sem9, they've now rotated right up in towards Monte Nuevo.
I can see that, and everyone's kind of just looting the place around, chilling about. After those few first kills, I think everyone's kind of settled down, got their territory, and now they're just gathering resources. And of course, we're still about almost 4 minutes into our Miramar game. But you did mention there's a game that lasted for 15 minutes. I think I'd like to see that right now. But going about this pace, I think we're gonna be seeing maybe a 20 or 25-minute typical classic Miramar map. But of course, things could happen. Maybe the teams will suddenly run into each other, right in Chumacera, and then they're just gonna have a whole death match over there. But a caster can dream.
I mean, yeah, we can dream all we want. We'll find out, unfortunately, what these teams are going to be doing pretty soon. Whether or not they're going to go along with what we're kind of hoping for, or if they will have something else in mind. Voin Donkey, though, are going to be one of those teams that they've come through with an interesting approach here. They've not necessarily been playing the strongest game so far, but they've definitely been trying quite a few things with varying levels of success to that. So curious as to whether or not this match could be the one in which we see Voin Donkey really locking it in, going for gold, and looking to see if they can finish strong with regards to those overall standings. E-Arena, one of the other teams that are also a little bit of a menace when it comes to their overall strategy out on the battlefield here. But for the time being, they're going to have Los Leones and they can go about their business. I'm not quite really seeing any other teams sharing this location with them.
Yeah. I mean, that's good for E-Arena, and definitely from the mini-map, there's no one nearby, which is, number one, a good thing if you're still gathering resources, but once you've gotten all those resources and all those bullets, all those armors, then you're just gonna be, wasting a bit of time not being able to get those kills, get those eliminations that you need. But then again, this is gonna be a patient game. PUBG is a waiting game most of the time, so that's exactly what they're gonna do. But over here, I think we can see Alter Ego Aries kind of lounging about this area, and there's a team towards its western side. Let's see if their cars will make enough noise to start an engagement.
Well, I like the fact that we can also see just on the side of the screen where these teams are moving in towards. So we did see a few in Impala, but now there's only going to be one rotating through. We've got 5 teams actually currently up in Los Leones. We've got Boom in there, we've got Alter Ego as well as Team Secret, and then A1 and E-Arena. So I can tell you that Los Leones is going to be a very hot location, at least for the time being. Chumacera, though, is going to be BTR and Vampires as well as Talon. So I'm curious as to how these teams are going to look to play through it. Of course, Chumacera currently smack dab center zone, so that is going to be the prime real estate if you want a good spot moving further into this match. But for the time being, it is going to be Alter Ego just dipping and dodging all these buildings so they can get a successful rotation. And I gotta say, I actually appreciate Alter Ego going to that southern side, right? Looking to prioritize a little bit of a position further down the edge of the zone itself.
All with the strategy, all with the positioning, all with the locations. But I think this is gonna be interesting. Vampire Esports is within the vicinity of I believe I can't quite see the name, but yeah, this is gonna be interesting. They're just taking their place on the buildings. Not sure if they have information, but definitely something's gonna happen sooner or later, especially once that circle's gonna, you know, pressure people, pressure all the players into like moving about. But yeah, I just saw a knockdown right there, but I don't think it resulted to a full kill just yet. We still have 67 players on the ground, and we're still about 8 minutes into the game.
Yep, that knock came at the expense of Tribe Eremacy. That is going to be Tricks confirmed up and taken out of here. The other team that we saw up in Chumacera is going to be the players coming through from Talon Esports, as they will be holding just on that lower ground. Meanwhile, Horror Esports going to come through with their own approach here as they moved up into the northern side of the zone just ahead of Monte Nuevo. But here we go. Talon, the other team sharing the location up in Chumacera. They are going to be situated a little bit more up on towards the northwestern front. A good line of sight here by Reboy. You can see Lazarus just off in the distance. Vampire Esports still a little bit split up. But they got to watch these angles though, because Talon, they are primed and ready.
Yeah. I mean, their scopes are out. They spotted Vampire Esports. They just can't quite get the angle that they need. But over here, Johan's gonna be walking towards the hot zone. I don't know if this is gonna be a 1 versus 1. One has the vehicle on the side of Vampire Esports. Johan's just quite out in the field. I'm a bit nervous for this guy, but it looks like it's working out for him. He's not getting shot at. So let's just hope and see. Cross our fingers. Was over here. Talon actually gets a 1 knock on their side. So this is gonna be a bit messy, especially since there are 3 whole teams within this vicinity.
Yeah, that is Team Secret feeling the heat as Lil Ben gets taken down. BTR now going to be moving to the southern side. So Yoru going to feel this pressure now starting to build. As you can see, BTR essentially playing with their food, moving backwards, forwards, looking for an entry point. It is going to be just a few shots connecting up. BTR not going to be feeling too much of that as they continue to move further and further down south. I'm curious as to whether or not Team Secret actually fully committed to some kind of push up in towards Chumacera, or if they rather decided to opt for a different location. Now, Talon, they pretty much have Chumacera under lockdown, as we are going to be looking at that blue zone closing up as well. So in a minute and a bit, we'll see where our third stage is going to be taking us and exactly what these teams will have to work with.
And I was just kind of looking at where Team Secret exactly went. Okay, there we go. Speak of the devil, Team Secret is within the shack in the vicinity of another team. It looks like that's actually the vicinity of 2 teams. They kind of went away from Chumacera, saying, "Yep, we're out of here. There's too many people in here." And over here, it looks like Horror Esports is getting knocks on their side as well. We're seeing 65 players left on the field. A bit of a slow pace, not much kills we're seeing, not much eliminations. But I think this game is gonna be a little bit faster at this point. There's a lot of teams congregating in the same area, and Yeta Uta is taking some damage, but it's not gonna be enough to eliminate him off.
Yeah, Uda coming through with a quick repositioning. We've got Example also then looking to cook up a few nades alongside the rest of the team here from DRS. But it's going to be Alter Ego trying to pressure them. As you can see, Krypton holding on that southern side, trying to draw the attention, draw the focus. And what a strategy as Rosemary comes in, striking the iron while it's hot. But now it's going to be that full send as Alter Ego descends down upon DRS. Samsa already taking quite a bit of damage. As you can see, Yeta Uta getting knocked on down. Down goes Cyclone, and now it is Samsa, an Example, left to defend the honor of DRS.
Oh my, Samsa's in trouble, and that is the end of DRS. Was quite unfortunate. I mean, the positioning was kind of not on their side at that point, but good for AE. They got 4 points, 4 eliminations out of it. But of course, the action is not over just yet. E-Arena versus Team Secret. E-Arena does have the advantage of this little house over here, but whether or not Team Secret is gonna turn it against them, let's see how that happens. But right now, Team Secret doesn't look like they're gonna be pushing just yet. I guess they can go ahead and get some information first, get some pickoffs before really moving about. But over here, Alter Ego Aries also has their own story to tell. It looks like he'll be dodging. Krypton will be dodging that grenade quite well, and I think they're gonna be going for the push, but unfortunately, this is a 1 versus 1 that Krypton will win, but Of course, he's gonna be going down after just a few seconds. That revenge kill coming in, and that's the end for Alter Ego Aries. And of course, Horror Esports off cam as well.
Yeah, two teams falling in very close succession here, but it is far from over. RRQ gonna start rolling up as well, just moving south there of Chumacera. They're gonna be riding the ridge, looking for that next place to call home. Talon still occupying Chumacera, so they seem to be quite reluctant. They don't want to give up the position just yet, and it could actually pay off because there could still be quite a few teams transitioning into the zone from that overall positioning. BTR, though, off in the distance, approaching Team Secret. And then, of course, as we saw on the opposite end, is going to be E-Arena. So if Team Secret is not too cautious, they could find themselves in quite the predicament. But look at the patience coming through here from Optimus as Federales now starts to approach, looking to open up the angles here. GK, though, getting hit, and this is where everything now could start to turn around. Bigatron by Vitality definitely going to come in here looking to prove a point.
Yeah. Bigatron by Vitality, they do have Team Secret on their crosshairs. And yes, that's a hit. That's a knock on J-Key by the hands of Arazi. But I think it's not over just yet. They spot two more players from Team Secret from a distance. They're trying to get those bullets, but it's not gonna be connecting. But in the end, J-Key from Team Secret does say goodbye for now. And so with that, BTR, I mean, they have a few points on their side, but otherwise, they're still in trouble. There's several other teams hovering about.
Yeah, Yangon Galacticos is going to be one of those squads just over to the southern side, trying to decide whether or not they want to take any part in these engagements, or are they going to try and prioritize a little bit more of an advantageous angle. RRQ also spotting out of position. A quick play here. BTR just down the hill, so this is where La Par needs to be super cautious. Federales is going to be on the approach. Quick duck into the vehicle, looking to fortify that overall positioning here now for RRQ. But again, BTR, they were causing a bit of noise. They've also drawn in a bit of attention. It's going to be up to Yangon Galacticos to see whether or not they will choose to get involved here. And off in the distance, we can see the other part of BTR also holding steady. So a very bold approach coming through here from BTR, fighting on several fronts.
Yeah, lots of choices to be made at this point, but of course, VD and DRX got their own engagement in this area. Big Mama taking lots of Big Mama damage, but in the end, they're holding on to a few more HP on their side. But on the other hand, we're looking at Champions Esports as well, having the high ground. There's some teams right below them, but over here, I'm scared for this mini map. There's about 2 or maybe 3 teams, and this is gonna be a 1 versus 1 between Big Papa and another player over here. I don't quite see it, but one has the high ground, one has the low ground, throwing those throw balls, and unfortunately, it's the high ground that will win. Big Papa holding on to life by a thread. Get that. I don't know if they got that kill, but yeah, definitely their team does get that kill, but it's not over just yet. There's another team hovering about from the distance, from above, and this time they don't have the high ground.
Yeah, DRX now fighting also on all fronts. It is going to be Champions Esports just ahead of them. We did see that play coming through at the expense of Voin Donkey. Voin Donkey holding on with the solos. We can see up on the minimap there, just trying to dodge all the sprays heading up in their direction. Absolute laser focus, but that is going to be Vampire Esports. Also now poking and prodding into the side here of Talon as the pressure is on. Axel with a quick dip out of the vehicle. They spot an opportunity. Yoro is going to be down. Axel, Shield, and Reboy looking for their opportunity to try and bounce back. But Vampire, they are eager to push. They are eager to secure the points. They've been doing quite a bit of climbing here already, starting the match all the way up in 6th position. They've not found any success with eliminations, but this could be that opportunity. The Sivina just waiting patiently for an opportunity to present itself. Mueller, very active, looking for the angle here.
Yeah, Vampire Esports, they have the golden opportunity over here. There's a lot of players within the mini map. But it looks like they'll be saying they will be seeing a knock on their side for now. But looks like Lazarus is trying their best though. They spot the player from a distance trying to get those shots in. But unfortunately, it's their team that will be seeing 2 knocks. And Champions Esports off cam, they do say goodbye. We're down to 12 teams and 40 players. And one by one, we're seeing things coming up on the kill feed. But right now, we're looking at Talon. Reboyaza up here in the open, getting shot at. Unfortunately, he'll be losing that 1 versus 1. And all the while, lots of different fights all over the map. And right now, we're just watching teams fall one by one. 36 players rather left. Talon Esports, they need to revive one of their players. One's already down in the ground. And there's only 2 left in this team in Talon who will be left to pretty much get as much points as possible before this game ends.
Yeah, all hope is lost there for A1 Esports as well, as they will get sent onto the lobby. RRQ now going to be feeling the heat as Lazarus dials it up. Sem9 going to be following suit, as they will also be walking out of here with 3 points to their name. Mueller now still focusing quite aggressively onto RRQ, but both squads outside of zone, they need to find that reposition. They need to get themselves securely angled here, because stage 5 at blue zone is going to cause quite a bit of harm to the players. Now, 9 teams remain. E Arena looking pretty good, close towards that center setup in the zone. You can see, of course, Team Secret also just holding nice and steady. And there we have the zone. A few squads still on that far southern side. It's going to be a Team Boom looking to come through with a bit of a push as they do move closer to Federales. Not quite sure why we see that widespread, but it is probably Federales just trying to gather a little bit more information to relay that back to the team. BTR with a good setup up in the zone here, but Boom now starting to descend down into the zone, starting to apply themselves. Federales has been picked up and shipped out. That is Delta from Tribe Eremacy securing yet another point. Now, sitting on 90 points total. Of course, those placement points will be making their way in as well. But here we go. Boom, looking for that approach, looking for that entry into the zone.
Yeah, Boom Esports is actually having a really good game right now. That's 7 eliminations. I believe the highest so far in this map. And so with that, they still have a long way to go. They're still 11th place on the total, or the overall table. But still, it's a good start. We have a couple more maps to go in this grand finals. But yes, EST holding on strong to that number 1 spot. And they're still alive in the game. They could just put a lot of points gap between them and Horror Esports going in second place. But of course, this game is not over just yet. It looks like everyone's kind of biding their time, waiting for someone to, make a mistake, get some pickoffs perhaps. But right now, if the circle is not going to move, the players aren't going to move either. It looks like it's a bit quiet in the kill feed, but everyone's just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, I could almost say these players are being a little bit stubborn, but, well, you can't really fault them for that. As you can see, RRQ now starting to choose violence here as they move on to Vampire, sending out a nice front line approach here. Nuga gonna try and get it done, but unfortunately getting caught with a nade in their hand, trying to ride the ridge, but that will not suffice, as of course we see that fight now getting concluded. RRQ will be the team out in 9th, and now this is where the zone goes absolutely crazy. Boom Esports getting absolutely demolished. 2 players already knocked down as they move against the side of Tribe Eremacy. Rig trying to just survive, ride it out. Not going to be allowed to do that, but they do find a beautiful hit, getting saved by Young on Galacticos. And that is a very unfortunate position now for Rig to be in, as they will get wrapped up and shipped out of here. Tribe Eremacy out in 8th place with 3 points to their name.
Oh man, that was absolutely crazy. It was like a David and Goliath kind of comparison over there. I mean, Boom Esports all the way at number 11, taking down AST. I thought AST would finally, humble them, but that didn't happen. Boom Esports walked away with 2 players still alive, but of course, the game's not over just yet. We still have 7 teams up in the running. We're 21, almost 22 minutes into this game. Talon Esports is still up and running, still 2 players in the game, but unfortunately, they're lagging behind in terms of eliminations. They only have 2 right now, but of course, once they get get their footing right. Maybe they'll get another kill with Vampire Esports looming about, but this looks like a 3 versus 1. I'm not quite sure if Talon Esports will come out here alive, but let's cross our fingers, especially for those who rooting for Talon Esports right now.
Yeah, cross your fingers and hope to fly, right? As that is maybe one way of getting out of a very sticky situation. Vampire, though, they are going to be looking to apply all the pressure that they can find. They've already gotten themselves 6 eliminations. They still hold on with 3 players now, turning their focus over across the way onto Yangon Galacticos. We were talking about Talon a few moments ago. I don't quite see Talon really surviving the position they find themselves in, because I think that animation to get them back up out of prone position is going to cause a little bit of trouble for them. But fortunately, it does seem like Vampire are somewhat distracted as we have Yangon still riding that ridge. If Talon wants to do something, they have to do it now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't like the position that they were in, but Vampire Esports, they didn't push towards Talon. Instead, their eyes turned towards the other teams within their horizon, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, Talon got saved over there, but still, they need to get a moving because I don't like their position at all. Right here, Naxel has the opportunity to gun down Vampire Esports. Didn't quite get those bullets to connect, but this is a 1 versus 1 that we're all been waiting for. Naxel gets those bullets, gets that kill, and with that, that's a 3 kills on the side of Talon Esports. But unfortunately, Shields needs that revive, and with that, the last bullet, Talon Esports is eliminated off at a number 7 for this map, going in with Team Secret at number 6 as well.
Yeah, the lobby is heating up, and I think it's the right map for that as we are out in the desert. Now, BTR down to a solo. It is going to be Optimus looking to see if they can survive the rest of the zone. But E-Arena now coming into play, as you can see them sitting with 3 eliminations and one of the only few squads still left with all 4 of their players in this game. BTR are going to try and patch themselves up. 2 knocks already going through. Razy could potentially be bleeding out right about now, but Yangon Galacticos still looking pretty confident over on towards that western side of the zone. Nice little bit of a plateau here for them to try and capitalize on. They do spot Yumi up ahead, and it is now going to be full send time as Yangon Galacticos start to mobilize. They start to move, and the utilities actually getting sent out in a response. That is going to be Yumi all the way from Boom Esports. Still responding quite aggressively already. 10 eliminations for the side here of Boom. Will they make it to the finish? It is now a nade down to see if they can pick him up.
Yeah, actually really nervous for Yumi right now. Boom Esports doing quite well. 10 eliminations already, and just as I said it, Yumi says goodbye. But not without a fight. They went down as the 5th team in this map, but now we're going to be seeing the showdown between the last 4 teams standing. That's 11 players still up in the running, and it looks like E-Arena, they have their full roster. That goes the same with YG as well. Fortunately, Vampire Esports only has 2, and Bigatron by Vitality only has 1. Crosshairs out. EA has their potential kills in the bag. Grenades out. Let's see if they can get a knock on their side. They get a kill, actually, and with that, YG loses 1 player on their roster, but it's not over just yet. Let's see if EA has any more plans to bagging any more eliminations in this map.
I mean, this is a great play coming through here for E-Arena, but if Yangon Galacticos wants to try and contest, if they want to regain their positioning on the standings, they will have to fight to the finish. 3 players is what they have to work with here, but E-Arena being an absolute menace, quite a controlling position that they have in the zone. As you can see, that 2-2 split now really being utilized to its full extent. BTR, they are going to be holding on with the solo. Not quite sure if Optimus is going to be able to shine in this one, but Vampires, I also like the high angle that they have. Master Spell is going to look to send it up. Instead is met with quite a bit of a spray down. Fortunately, still managing to hold on. Not a lot of damage getting connected on towards them. As you can see, Master Smile turning that spray around. Vampire losing their player. And now, Vampire holding on with 1. But Yangon Galacticos also not looking too confident now, as they only have 2 players left to make a difference.
Ooh, Ooh, I like it. EA's doing so well, getting elimination after elimination. Unfortunately, YG's not looking really good at this point. BTR finally falls with that last player getting gunned down by Turney over here. And EA, all they have to do right now is hunt down the rest of the YG members. They're already licking their wounds. They're already down. One player needs that revive, and so E Arena, all they really have to do is kind of finish this game. But still, YG, maybe they can turn this around. Maybe we can see EA getting gunned down from this point. YG coming up at like a phoenix from their ashes, but. That's something that we're going to be finding out real soon. Romeo is just up in here in the elevations. Probably going to throw a grenade. Let's see if it's going to connect. If it's going to deal any damage towards EA. It's like they spotted him. They got that information and they're going to go in with the push. 3 versus 1. And with that, EA is our winner chicken dinner winner for match number 9. I mean, congratulations. They had a full roster coming in once the top 5 teams were towards the end of the game. And so, you know what? They had really good prospects and they did not mess it up. Congratulations once again.
Yeah, E Arena showing that the numbers work out in their favor. Finishing strong with 3 players in that zone makes them quite a bit of a force to be reckoned with. But a well-deserved victory, of course, starting the match out with 60 points. They now get to add a lot more to that overall tally. So a big shout-out going out to them. Mormon, Tony K, 456, and then, of course, Joker. Strong representation there for the team. But I like the read that they had on the zone, right? A very confident way that they just kind of moved on through. They started their game all the way over to the far sides of Minas Generales and then rotating up to get their hands on that winner chicken dinner. But I got to say, though, Annie, looking at the zone, moving into those hills, it always results in very exciting PUBG action coming through.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had our guesses, but E Arena they pulled through and pretty much just proved us all wrong. But over here we can see the MVP of match number 9 is actually Lazarus with 6 whole eliminations, 757 damage, and of course, survival time of 24 minutes and 42 seconds. And yeah, I mean, I saw Lazarus pop up in the kill feed one after the other. It's just no wonder that they came up as the MVP. And so now with that, I'm expecting Lazarus has put a lot of points for their own team towards the leaderboards. And speaking of leaderboards, we're seeing the match ranking for match number 9. Of course, we see EA with the 10 eliminations, with the same amount of placement points totaling to 20. Boom Esports rather coming in second, 13. Vampire Esports with 12. Young Good Galacticos with 10. Bigatron by Vitality with 7. DRX with 5. Talon and Tribe Aeromessi with 4. That goes the same with Void Donkey ID, Alter Ego Aries as well. Sem9 champions, they both have 3. Team Secret, RQ Ryu, and Horror Esports gets 2. DR Gaming gets 1. And unfortunately, A1 Esports hasn't gotten points for this map.
Yep, they get sent back with a bag of donuts. Thank you so much for contributing and partaking in this. But you got to give it up to E Arena, though. That 10-point winner chicken dinner is going to sit quite well with them. And of course, we need to see how all these points impact our overall standings as we move right in. E Arena climbing up 3 positions right up into second place. Young on Galacticos. Yep, they decided now is go time as they move up 2 slots. But the biggest move that we see on this page is going to be Boom Esports climbing 6 positions all the way up into 9th place. They are going to contest for the top 5. As we can see, looking at the points, there's still going to be a long, long way to go. But we still have 3 games, so there will still be quite a few opportunities for the teams to try and secure those much-needed points.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely crazy for Boom Esports over there. That's 6 whole ranks going up. And so with that, this is the rest of the rankings. And of course, there's a lot of things to say, but And I just want to see Boom Esports. They really shined in that last game. They racked up a lot of points. And if they keep this consistency towards the rest of the map today, the rest of the maps rather for today, then maybe, just maybe, they'll actually contest towards maybe top 5, maybe even top 3. But of course, we saw towards the first map, the first page rather, we see AST. They did keep their number 1 ranking, but we saw some teams are climbing up. So, this is going to be exciting. This is a very volatile leaderboards. So lots of things can happen. And of course, these were today's matches. Miramar, Erangel, and Miramar. We're going to be moving on to Erangel once again for match number 10.
Yeah, we have reached the halfway point of the final day. 3 more games remain to see who will be crowned the victors for the Asia Showdown Season 3. It's going to be a pretty hot and heated engagement. But I think moving into Erangel up next is going to be quite an exciting one, as the teams are going to be bringing in all the aggression that they can muster. And of course, to get that ready, we are going to be hopping into a quick break. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you right back on the other side. Welcome back. We're getting ready to move into our last half, the final stretch, the last 3 games of the Asia Showdown Season 3. My name's DK. I'm joined by Annie, and we're going to be taking you into the action here. We just witnessed our second Murmur. It is going to be that turning point. I'm expecting the teams really now to step up with the aggression moving into this last 3 games here, Annie.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you said it, last 3 games. So this is the last 3 chances for these teams to prove themselves on the leaderboards. And with that, actually, I just saw like the previous games, there's a different winner, chicken dinner winner for each map. So this is going to be really volatile. This is going to be a lot of surprises in the next 3 games. So I'm really excited to see who will suddenly prove themselves worthy and who will fall off in this next Erangel map. So with that, we've seen these teams in Erangel before. We've seen how they played. So whether or not they're going to be learning from their mistakes or will they be making the same mistakes next, we're going to be finding out later on.
Yeah, there's only one way to know is we'll have to see what that what that flight path and zone brings, and of course where these teams get to go. Now the last zone we have, the last match that we had over on Erangel, of course, went to that western side of Gatka, out in the middle of nowhere. So I want to see where the teams will have to move towards this time around. Are we going to get a position maybe a little bit more towards the north? Is it going to go up into Yasnaya Polyana? Could we maybe have a military island finish? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be pretty crazy, especially if it goes down to the military base. I mean, all those chaos and the 2 bridges going there in the middle of the game. That's gonna be pretty exciting. But of course, we don't know where that circle is gonna go. So we're just gonna be, watching how this game is gonna play out. And of course, we're probably gonna start it really soon. But right now, I don't really have any solid guesses, but I'm really liking E Arena's performance right now, and of course ASC as well. They're doing quite consistently, relatively, and of course Boom Esports. I'm really hoping to see the same kind of performance later on, but that's gonna be something we're gonna be seeing later on.
Yeah, we want Boom Esports to bring the boom into the games here. They've got a few more to go. So the pressure is going to be on Horror Esports so far today. I'm not quite sure what's happening, right? They got 2 points in the last match. And before that, in the previous Erangel that we saw, they also made a bit of an effort there. They got 10 points. So it's not necessarily all downhill just yet. But we want to see if Horror is going to look to contest for the pole position, for the biggest share of the prize pool, they're going to have to up the ante. They're going to have to bring all the pressure that they can. So, yep, the stakes are getting increasingly high as the teams are moving further and further through the day. And, after this match, there's only going to be 2 opportunities left for the points to for the teams rather to secure points, and not for the points to secure teams, because that's not a thing. But so we'll see pretty soon what they are going to be bringing. You got to give it up, though, to Bigatron by Vitality. One of the only teams on the first page that are holding very strong, and they've not found a single...
Hoping that they catch up to the points and maybe hold on to their placement in the overalls. But of course, there's a lot of teams that are shining all of a sudden towards this second day of the grand final. So you know what? Let's just see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think that's what adds to the excitement here. Is there's a big level of surprise that is going to come through, as any team can at any point step up and. I mean, I said surprise, right? That zone definitely is going to be quite a bit of a surprise to these teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I said like maybe that circle's gonna go to the Milter Power, but it really did. And this is gonna be interesting because there's a whole handful of teams that landed just outside of that circle, and a lot of teams that are still going on towards the western side. I mean, just get those vehicles, not gonna be a problem, but of course those teams that landed within the circle, they're definitely gonna have just a little bit more advantage. And we're seeing still 68 players on the ground and 17 teams, so I think it's a bit of a quiet and a quiet start to this game. Not much early engagements. We can see Alter Ego Ares, they're already in their vehicles looking for a better place to kind of land about, but they spot another team already, and they have some guns, so there's potentially maybe an engagement's gonna happen, maybe some eliminations, but for now it doesn't seem to be that way.
Yeah, a little bit of a potential hot drop that we saw coming through between Alter Ego and the players then from Tribe Eremacy. Eremacy, though, they got to look to move onto the high ground, potentially, of Shelter and the surrounding area. We do also have A1 in the same position here, so 3 teams, potentially maybe even 4 teams, could be looking to vie for some of the loot that we have available. And I think that's what makes the looting phase so interesting, is if a team comes in with a good drop, a good angle, they could definitely get the jump on the competition. Speaking about jumps, Champion Esports and Vampire finding themselves in a bit of a standoff.
Ooh. I mean, they're both just kind of hiding out right now. None of them want to make the first move at this rate. And so with that, I mean, it's a smart move. You don't know what kind of, like, equipment the other team has. You don't know if you stand a chance to go against them. And so with these two teams, they're kind of just waiting it out, seeing if they could get a pick off from waiting about. But once again, just in this raid, it looks like Vampire Esports actually gets the first shot, gets that first elimination as well. Once again, Lazarus, the previous MVP, gets the first blood for this map.
Well, Lazarus starting us off, getting this party underway. We can see a little bit of damage spread across the teams here. BTR also having a little bit of that health being removed from them. But this was that first conversion. Now, Alter Ego. Ooh, they've caught scent of A1. It is going to be Deathstorm now, just trying to get the heck out of Dodge, but that scent is just there. Alter Ego could really look to wrap this one up and add their first point on the board for this game. The shotties now coming into play. Rosemary getting hit mid-air. A lot of jumping all over the place. Alva needs to step it up, because so far, it does seem like A1 is going to clean it up. It is going to be Moana holding steady here. Deathstorm still doing an absolute amazing job now. Alva, will you be able to save the day, though?
Oh my gosh, this made me really nervous, because these two teams are just picking off one of the other. We're seeing trades of eliminations. And with that, Alter Ego Ares actually says goodbye for now.
Well, there we go. A very abrupt end to the play here for Alter Ego. So I think it is safe to say that they might maybe manage somehow to hold on to 5th place, unless Vampire Esports decides that they have other intentions. Based on what we've seen so far, that could maybe be the play here. But Tribe Eremacy, they have a golden opportunity here to sneak in a few cheeky elims. As you can see, 3 players from A1 position down below. That's, of course, all that's left of A1. So Sinister could be the next one to get sent away.
And unfortunately, A1 just came out of another engagement. So this is unfair. Tribe Eremacy is like fresh off of looting, and A1 still licking their wounds. They're inside of this warehouse. They have one player knocked down and one already down on the ground. And with that, they're getting bombarded by throwables. Not looking good for A1, but still, perhaps they can turn this around. But then again, they're going against ASC, our number one team right now. So let's see how this plays off. So far, they're surviving. So far, they already have 4 eliminations on their side. They have a good start to this map. But the question is, will they be seeing the end of this map after ASC is done with them? Let's see.
Well, let's see if there's maybe some hope left here for A1. A very strong response to the send coming through from Tribe Ermacy, who now, I'm not quite sure what their play is going to be here. Trix just kind of holding off in the distance, not going to be looking to send it up just yet. We do see quite a few other teams now getting involved in the feed as well. Everybody's starting to come to the party. Say Cloud is going to be the next one to find a beautiful bit of a spray. Example, going to try and stay healthy as they get on the bicycle, looking to rotate up in towards the zone. Meanwhile, it's going to be Cyclone and the rest of the team rolling up in the monster truck. Sem9 now sending it up into farm. That is exactly where Team Spirit find themselves, at least for the time being. Sem9 are going to try and close it up, though, as the full rush is here. Yuhai flying right into the buildings.
Yeah, I like this already. This is going to be a potential whole squad wipeout. This is Sem9 versus TS, so you know what? Let's see what happens. It looks like Sem9 Yumeko is kind of circling about, but Yuhai over here goes in to the Dragon's Den. Will he come out alive? That's the question. TS, however, Team Seeker, they're positioning themselves, but they're not quite pushing just yet. They're not going on the aggressive. Sem9, we saw one on the red. Yumeko gets one, however, but that's just a knock, not a complete elimination. Liven, however, we're seeing a road chase. And the question is, who's gonna win this? It looks like Dockel is right behind Yumeko. They hit the house, and it looks like this is gonna be a 1 versus 1 between the fences over here. Yep, that's a bunch of jumps. That's a lot of damage taken. Dockel's on the red. It's only then they need either of these teams. They need to be finished off. It looks like Sem9 has 2 players left. Trexie is very low on health. It looks like Yuhai says goodbye completely.
Oh, this is not looking good. It is going to be Champion Esports now rolling up for a third-party play as well. Love this chain fighting just erupting all over the place. Team Spirit, though, looking like they are having a little bit of a tough run this time around. I mean, a good response that they gave to Sem9 rotating up towards them. Let us see whether or not they'll be able to survive any further. Now, Tribe Ermacy, much further away from the rest of the lobby, ensuring that they can come in right at the last moment to strike fear into the lobby itself. Now, Team Secret looking to quickly just re-strategize, reposition, and maybe come in with a bit of a response as they are just trying to get a good read on what exactly is happening up in farm.
Yeah, I mean, all eyes on Team Secret and Sem9 right now. And it looks like Team Secret recovered quite well. They still have their full roster. They got their 2 pickoffs against Sem9, but it looks like they can't quite finish off the rest of Sem9 over here. They're just trying to see what's the best way to approach this. But over here, we can see Yangon Galacticos. They're trying to surround another team over here. Let's see if they can get that kill in the bag. But for now, it's just going to be a chase. It looks like YG is actually down to 2 players left, but still they're going on the aggressive. They're putting on their gas pedal here to try to get this pick off in the bag, and they already have 3 kills in there. And now that is the 4th. Voin Donkey ID will be going down by the hands of Yangon Galacticos.
Yeah, I mean, Romeo Boy deciding he's not even going to use any ammo. He's just going to run down the opposition and one away to close it out. Up in Potato Hill, we do see what is a few semblance of the Vampire Esports side. It is going to be Lazarus, the one who started us off with the first blood. Now just rotating up into the zone. Arena, Tony K locking down the edge of zone. So Vampire Esports finding themselves in a little bit of trouble.
Ooh.
Not quite sure if they are going to look to respond or will now choose somewhere else to rotate up towards.
Oh man, Tourniquet denied that vehicle elimination. So close. But that was quite entertaining. But still, E Arena, they're still up in the running. Still, all 4 players standing already with 2 eliminations on their side. Whether or not they'll show us the same kind of performance from the previous map, we're gonna be seeing that later on. But for now, we're gonna be looking at DRS Gaming. Let's see if they can pretty much redeem themselves in this next map. I mean, DRS, they got picked off quite early on last game, and RQ at the distance also trying to fight against them. Let's see how that ends up. DRS Gaming, they have pretty good positioning all throughout this this bridge. There's a lot of chances for gatekeeping, but so whether or not they'll survive this, especially since they've already lost 1 player and 1 player is almost on the red. Let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, I mean, for the side of RRQ, it is going to be essential for them to try and push forward, right? They were making their rotation up in towards the zone and then met the opposition, which was DRS Gaming. RRQ, though, looking to get a little bit more of that elevation going. Samsa looking to get all the angles unlocked. Lapar, yeah, experiencing gravity, right? It is an unfortunate thing, but that is just how it works around here. Nuga is going to be the last one on that far back end. The rest of the squad up on the front line looking to get those reses potentially secured, bringing them maybe back into full form. We do say goodbye to Young Gun Galacticos, though, as they won't be making it any further in this game. Out they go. Hora Esports, though, going to be sitting comfortably here with 1 elimination up as they move towards that northern side of zone. Now rotating up, and it is going to be Shelter. A1 already occupying this area, so we might be in for a little bit of a crossfight here.
Yeah, and I know Hora is gonna be trying to redeem themselves, trying to reclaim that number 2 spot that they held in the previous game, in the previous games. And so with that, they're gonna be seeing another team over here. They're gonna be seeing a potential fight that they're gonna be taking. Whether or not they'll be getting some eliminations from this engagement, we'll be having to see. But right now, it's No Fear that's gonna be just turning around in their vehicle, but unfortunately not getting any bullets just yet. For now, we have 1 elimination and another squad hovering about. Potential eliminations on their side, but unfortunately, we're not seeing any knocks just yet.
Yeah, so far A1 holding up pretty good with their defense. As Hora, they've not been able to gain any territory. It is going to be Sinister falling back with the rest of the team, looking to just fortify their initial angle, but it is going to be Jiggle to deny that play coming through from Sinister as the shot connects on up, and that is 1 player down. Now, Sinister going to look on as the rest of the squad from A1 will decide to disengage here. You're not going to be seeing that rescue played at just yet. Hora going for all the different angles and strategies. Sleepy, quick execution with that S12K. But off in the distance, we do see yet another team holding up into the compound. So there could be quite a bit of that chain fighting coming through here. We also say goodbye to Vampire Esports. Out they go. Team Secret, though, is going to be the team to claim them as their points.
Yeah, finally, something happens in that part of the map. But right now, we're still looking at Hora, hoping that they'll get the points that they need to reclaim their spot. But of course, nothing's happening just yet. We can be turning our attention to Bigatron by Vitality. It looks like Talon Esports is within the vicinity, but unfortunately, we're not seeing Bigatron by Vitality making any moves just yet. That goes the same with Talon, but slowly but surely, I can see Champion from the southwestern side hovering about as well. And I'm not liking the position that Federalis is in because he's getting sandwiched by these 2 squads. And with that, if he's going to go out with that car, it's probably going to make a lot of noise. It's going to give a lot of information to both of these squads. But you know what? If it works out, it'll work out. But BTR, it looks like they're going to be potentially rotating out of this area. Let's just wait and see.
Yeah, only time will tell. BTR, unfortunately, also going to be holding on to a 2-2 split. So if something goes horribly wrong on the front line, they do have another strategy to try and play at. Now, Champion Esports could find themselves a few bits of damage as Tribe Eremacy comes rotating on up. Delta Spotting out a bit of movement, looking for something here, but it's going to be Rig and the rest of the team now being forced out of their vehicles. They can't move up quite just yet. It's going to be Horror just applying a little bit of that pressure coming in from the edge. And also the cross-fighting coming through from Talon up on the high ground. Quite a bit of reach here. Horror, though, with a wide 3-1 split. We do see Sleepy all the way back. Or rather, it's a 2-1 split here. As you can see, Sleepy just up in the edge of the building. A wide rotation that we've had come through here, as Horror is now fully committed to farm itself. Are they going to be able to farm a few eliminations? We'll find out soon, but so many teams in the surrounding area, and there's multiple opportunities, but also so many angles to keep a very close eye on.
Yeah, you gotta watch your back, especially since there's a lot of enemies nearby, and I just don't like this mini map. It makes me nervous, you know. But then again, it's also opportunities to wipe out entire squads, get a lot of eliminations in the bag. But of course, a lot of opportunities to put your head on a target as well. And with that, Bigatron by Vitality walking out into the open. And with that, PTR, they're actually getting a lot of kills in the bag, with Talon falling one after the other towards their hands. Now all that's left is Iraboya, and with that, last bullet, Talon gets eliminated as number 12 by the hands of Bigatron by Vitality.
Yeah, a very swift and efficient move coming through there from Bigatron. But now it is going to be DRS looking to claim their own as they find E Arena moving up Joker for the time being, just trying to distract ever so slightly. They want to see if they can clutch that res. Mormon on the front line. Beautiful shot coming through here from Samsa. Or quite a bit of damage getting dealt into the side here of E Arena as they get taken away. Off they go. 3 points now up for DRS. Down to 10 teams we go. And DRS, one of those only few remaining teams yet to find a good position moving into this next zone.
And with that, I mean, DRS, they could redeem themselves in this map. They're still alive, and there's still 10 teams left standing. That's 34 players as well. And of course, that mini map is not doing well for the nerves of these players. But of course, PTR is outside of the circle. I don't know if this is part of their plan, but of course, if they're gonna go in, they better not be gate kept by this hovering team over here towards their western side. But of course, there's a lot of bullets coming in the small camera. It doesn't seem like any of those bullets are connecting. Nothing's popping up in the kill feed, but of course, going back to that circle, it's getting quite small. The teams are still a little bit spread out, but hopefully we're going to be seeing some action later on.
Yeah, we've got 2 minutes and a bit of change left until we'll move into the next phase. So the opportunity is there for the teams to try and establish something moving through here. But Annie, I think just looking at what Boom and, of course, the side of DRX could maybe have cooking over here, Horror could be in for quite a bit of a play against them, even the players here from Tribe Eremacy.
Yeah, I'm seeing AST over here, Tribe Eremacy. They have the high ground, but unfortunately, they're also out in the open. So that just gives Boom Esports so much opportunity to kind of just try to throw some bullets towards their side. And of course, AST, they're surviving quite well. They're just hiding behind whatever they can hide on. And Boom Esports is just putting a lot of pressure on their side. But of course, we're seeing DRS, unfortunately, down to their last two players in Cyclone almost saw heaven just right there. They're already half their HP. And so with that, you know what? Crossing my fingers that they get a lot of points in this map, but unfortunately with only 2 players left and still so many teams to go up against, you know, they're just gonna have to play this really safe.
Yeah, well, who's also gonna have to play it safe is DRX, as they'll get a nice little warm seat in the lobby for the time being. 9 squads remain. BTR are going to be looking to now push a little bit more towards the northern side of zone. Again, going for a very interesting approach here, but Federal, though, is going to lock it in. It is going to be 2 hits coming in at the expense of Champion. Now, Optimus in the building. Got to watch out for these angles, though. It does find a little bit of damage and gets dropped to their knees. It's going to be Satar looking to play that last move now as they find a bit of an opportunity here. Champions already taking quite a bit of a chunk of HP down. And now it is a 1v1 showdown to see whether or not Bigatron by Vitality can claim the last few available points. But it is going to be RRQ now looking to roll on up. And this might be the end of the road for them.
I mean, there's so many teams in this vicinity, and one after the other, people fall. But Bigatron by Vitality will be saying goodbye. I mean, they had the numbers disadvantage, and you saw how many people coming about. RRQ marching in with their 3 players. That was like a death march towards your side. It was absolutely crazy. It was scary actually, but of course RQ, they're doing quite well. They have 6 eliminations and they're 18th place in the leaderboards right now, but they're trying to shine. They're trying to tell people that they're still up in the running. But I think he ran over himself unfortunately, but with that was just a knock. Let's see what's gonna happen with RQ right now.
Yeah, that knock has not yet been converted into an elimination, but it is going to be RRQ now looking to do exactly that. Cyclone holding steady just up on the balcony there. They are going to be feeling quite a bit of heat as, well, the send is very imminent. You can see RRQ getting ready, prepping all the grenades that they can find, getting their team back into a full force as they come through with a charge here. Cyclone going to try and play a little bit of a defensive position, but it's not going to be an easy one at all. RRQ has found the mollies, they found the entry, and they could potentially find that elimination right about now as well.
Ooh. RRQ is so scary. They push in with all of their players, and that just looks absolutely scary if you're just like all by yourself. And I mean, it worked out for them because they're racking up a lot of eliminations on this map. And with that, you know what? Unfortunately, they didn't get this kind of break in the previous maps. And now they only have 2 chances after this. But of course, as I was speaking, A1 Esports does get eliminated off. And we're down to our last 5 teams. That will be AST, Boom, RRQ, Hora, and TS. And so with that, lots of these teams still have a lot of players, either a 3 or a 4-man team. So this is going to be really interesting.
Well, Broom getting absolutely ripped apart as they try to rotate up. They still have 0 left looking to hold on for the time being. And it's looking pretty grim, at least on the side of Broom here. As you can see, 0 just sitting in the warehouse, wondering what on earth just happened to the rest of their squad. Meanwhile, it's going to be Hora Esports looking very confident. Yes, they only have 2 eliminations to their name, but they came into this match sitting quite comfortably with a decent chunk of points already secured. Now, looking to add placement points to the overall tally. Nofia finding a beautiful spray onto GK, and this is that conversion coming through now. Hora locking it up, lining up spray after spray, hitting in onto the points. Boom Esports getting eliminated as they will not be holding on any longer. Sleepy on the side here from Hora, yet to find some eliminations. But this could now be a very aggressive shift coming through from the zone. Jiggle, though, getting picked up as Delta spots them out in the open.
Ooh, it's quite a mess in these last few minutes. I mean, there's a lot of things that you should be worried about. There's so many teams on all sides. And so with that, RRQ is gonna be targeting AST right now, but they're gonna come in with the same kind of push as they always did. All 4 players storming in, one after the other. Actually, it's quite that's crazy. That was actually effective. RRQ stormed it. All 4 players, no plan, just guns blazing. They actually took down AST. That was doing quite well.
Yeah, they came in with the meat shields. It's just like, well, if the first one goes down, just keep going, and we gotta keep going until, well, we either see the lobby or we see the daylight on the other side. So what a play from RRQ. 11 eliminations up already. Now, there's only 2 teams standing between them and a potential winner chicken dinner. It is going to be Team Secret holding up with a 3-piece, and then, of course, the duo coming through here from Hora. But RRQ, they have the numbers advantage. Now, they just got to play a beautiful game to close it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they have a chance over here, especially since they have the numbers advantage. We're looking at Horo with only 2 players left. Team Secret with 3, and one of their players just lost a huge chunk of their health. It's actually quite amusing watching RRQ. I mean, their play style, it's not safe at all. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. But TS, they threw a grenade over here. It looks like there's one player from RRQ who's gonna be getting knocked down. But unfortunately for TS, I believe they're all by themselves. There's the 2 players. They're still gonna be rotating into the area, but RRQ's already putting a lot of pressure on their side with their throwables. But Team Secret coming to the rescue with their vehicles. Whether or not RRQ is gonna be taking them down, they're using the same tactic as usual, just storming in, guns blazing, no plan whatsoever. I love it so much. But Team Secret, will they hold their guard against RRQ? That's the question right now.
I think that it's safe to say that the approach here from RRQ is all or nothing, as they do find quite a bit of damage now onto Team Secret. The utility is also going to be flying back and forth.
Ooh.
Oh, this could be 13 eliminations coming through now for RRQ. They still need to find that last little smidgen of health left on the side here for Dockel. Let's see. Yep, the mating is there, patching up that HP bar. Ooh, beautiful off angle though coming through as RRQ looks to take action. Now, Team Secret, it is no secret that they still have 3 players up. They got that res secured. One of their players is going to be holding all the way over onto that far western side of zone. So Dockel now has to make magic happen as Lapar comes through with a push. This is RRQ looking for even more chaos and carnage. They do find 1. Will they find 2? They do. That is 1 player left for Team Secret. Lil Ben left in the compound.
RQ is so amusing right now. They're just using the same strategy and it's working. The funny thing is it's working, and now all that's left is to pick off the last 2 players. That Team Secret going down as 3rd. Now all that's left is to watch out, look for No Fear, hunt them down, and No Fear is gonna have to fear RRQ right now because they have all 4 players standing, and if No Fear will try to kind of spray them down, it's gonna be going against 4 other players. That damage is not gonna be enough. You get 1 player, you're gonna get shot at by 3 more, and that's exactly what's happening. They know where No Fear is. All that's left is to just get all that bullets there, and it's exactly what happened. No Fear gets 1, but unfortunately, in the end, it's RQ that's gonna be getting that winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is there. No Fear, not quite fearless, right? It was instead the side of RRQ. Absolute bullies, I'd say, as they just moved up.
Absolutely.
They see something, they run to it, they go like, we gotta get it. And they do. What an interesting play strategy that was coming through from RRQ. It worked in their favor. They got the winner chicken dinner and a bucket load of eliminations.
I'm not gonna lie, that was really amusing. It was very entertaining to see RRQ. The first time I saw them kind of like running towards this player. I believe it was the last player of BTR. There were 3 players from RRQ just guns blazing going about them, and we saw that from the perspective of BTR. It's absolutely scary. I was fearing for my life, and RRQ just kept using that strategy, and the crazy thing is, it worked towards the end, towards where there's only 1 player left in Hora. They still have their full roster. So, you know what? If it works, then it works. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that is definitely an interesting strat. I don't know if that would work in all situations, but I can tell you the teams, they weren't expecting RRQ to play like that. I mean, because I've not seen them do that in any of the previous matches. So what a strategy to utilize Lapar. No surprise, coming through as our MVP. 7 eliminations and 842 damage secured. And also just showing off with a good survival time. 26 plus minutes. Very, very impressive stuff indeed. But I gotta say though, I mean, this match wasn't a quick one, but boy, was it an entertaining one.
Yeah, absolutely. And RQ made absolute sure of that. And of course, Lapar, 7 eliminations, 842 damage. it's no surprise since they pretty much have their thumb on the ammo button the whole time, just guns blazing all the way. And look at that, 25 total points in the RRQ, and the huge drop to rank number 2 with 11, number 3 with 11 as well. That's Team Secret and Tribe Airmancy. Number 4, A1 with 10 points, Hori Sports with 9, Boomy Sports 6, Bigatron by Vitality with 5, the RS Game with 4. That goes the same with YG as well. Yeah, Champions Esports, E-Arena, and Voindonkey each having 2. Talon, Vampire Esports, and Alter Ego Aries with 1. DRX and Sem9 unfortunately walk away with nothing, but I mean, look at the disparity between number 1 and 2. It's absolutely amusing.
It's more than double the points. And speaking about double, we are hitting triplets. As we can see, Tribe Airmacy now hitting 103 points, just widening that gap ahead of Horror Esports and, of course, E-Arena. Interesting to see both teams occupying 82 points apiece, and, of course, then 81 going down to the side of Bigatron by Vitality. So it just shows you the competition is increasing, right? We've got 3 teams essentially sharing that second place position. And Bigatron by Vitality, if they want to compete against E-Arena and Horror Esports, they need that winner-winner chicken dinner because the eliminations are essentially exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, almost, but never enough. Bigatron by Vitality managed to get where they are without any chicken dinners, which is quite impressive, but still, it would help if they did win that winner-winner chicken dinner. And of course, we can see the second page as well. I mean, I want to know what RQ is doing. That's 6 ranks up just from that previous game. And that's no surprise, especially with that last winner-winner chicken dinner. So that was quite nice to watch. It was entertaining, but it just goes to show in this grand finals, there's just some things that you can't expect. There's a lot of surprises, and with these last 2 maps, there's probably more surprises to come.
Yeah, I mean, especially looking at the gap between the top 5 and, for instance, where RRQ find themselves situated, right? They've got 42 points, and the top 5 is 69. So if they gain 25 points in the next match, they could very well get themselves right there alongside the top 5, maybe even inside of the top 5. I'm not quite sure if they are going to be able to pull that off, but they just brought in 25 points. So it's going to boil down to the final 2 games to see where those chicken dinners are going to be going, how many points these teams are going to be securing, and if anybody can catch Tribe Airmacy with 103 points. Of course, we'll find out in a short few moments as we return after the break with our final murmur right here for Season 3 of the Asia Showdown. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. We're getting ready to move into the final stretch. We have one Miramar and one Erangel left to see who will be sitting at the top of the overall rankings. Who's going to walk away with that big share of the prize pool? Your guess is as good as mine, because I honestly don't know. So far, it seems like Tribe Eremacy, there's a good chance that they might be able to secure it, but it is going to depend quite heavily on what Horror Esports and E-Arena, as well as Bigatron by Vitality, are going to be doing in these next two games. My name is DK. I'm joined by Annie, and Annie, I'm wondering whether or not Bigatron by Vitality could maybe be opting to get their hands on a winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen at this point, but yeah, all eyes on the top 2 to 4, especially since they're kind of just fighting for second place at this rate. They're all in the line of 80s, and maybe top 5 is still at the 60s, so it's quite a long way to catching up. But of course, AST, they're sitting on 100 plus points, so they're kind of secured, but still they have to watch their path, especially if one of those teams below them gets a lot of points in these last two maps. But yeah, basically for this next map, I don't really have any very secure expectations, but other than that, I'm just expecting a lot of chaos.
Yes, I have to agree with you on that. I mean, 21, 22 points, that's kind of what we're looking at to just catch up to Tribe Eremacy. Is it doable for any of the teams sat in 2nd to 4th place? Yes. Is this the match in which it's going to happen? I don't know. We'll find out. Well, we are going to be starting off with a very decent flight path again, taking us now from the west to the eastern side, starting over at El Pozo, and of course heading just across Junkyard, stopping north of Impala. So, as you said previously, right, the teams are going to be very happy with where they can reach off of this flight path.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of chances to go either north or south. I mean, the far south perhaps is not going to be that accessible, but still there's a lot of choices to go with these teams, and it looks like everyone's going to be going to their drop-off points. And in Miramar, it looks like we have this really good stats going on to the side of Tribe Eremacy. So we're gonna be expecting, if they're not gonna get the winner chicken dinner, perhaps they'll get at least a lot of points out of this map, and that's just gonna secure perhaps their possible win for this grand finals. But still, eyes on the top 2, 3, 4. That's BTR, EA, and Horror as well. So they're doing really well, so I'm hoping to see, they're gonna be fighting out for these for top 2 for these last 2 maps.
Yeah, the pressure is going to be on, and we are right here for all the fighting they can bring. A look at the zone, though. Yeah, we are looking at a whole bunch of surprises coming through across the board. I mean, the last map, the zone, went into a very interesting position. This time around, we are looking at a northeastern zone. Cruz del Valle is going to be smack dab center. I mean, how often do we see this happen?
I mean, that's absolutely crazy. I don't if I landed towards the southwestern part of the map and I saw that circle, I'd be like, oh gee, oh my gosh, we're gonna be going a lot of rotations. But of course, they'll work it out. Everyone's landed quite safely. We're not seeing any early game engagements. No one's losing their heads, and no one's sticking out. I just spoke too soon. Look at that C1 already taking out a player from YG, and so with that, we're down to 67 players left on this Miramar map.
Yeah, I mean, these players aren't wasting any time. They are just jumping at every and any available opportunity. A1 Esports is going to be looking to move a little bit further up in towards Los Leones. You can see Sinister now moving into one of the blue bottoms. We do see Mormon from E-Arena also then occupying a slightly more northern position. 1 minute is what we'll have on the clock until the blue zone is going to start closing up. Fortunately, stage 1, the blue zone takes about 3 to 4 working days to close up completely. So there will be a lot of opportunities for these teams to get themselves situated. Not unless you rotate up like that. I mean, that was a very lucky play coming through from Atomic. Well, that was Urk, actually. just going on a bit of a roll there.
That was amusing. I mean, the monster truck was just like, oh, okay, I'm up right now. But yeah, worked out for C1. Champions Esports looks like they're gonna be rotating about, but I like this area. It's RQ once again. Let's see how they'll deal with DRX. Will they do the same guns blazing strategy, perhaps get their second winner in the chicken dinner, or will they not? They already have their first knock on their side, but DRX gets their revenge as well. One of the other DRX is actually falling. RQ already has one elimination on their side. They just need to confirm one and that's a second. They've cut down DRX to 2 players. Let's see if this is gonna be a full squad wipeout, or will RQ, see the lobby after this?
It does seem like they might survive a little while longer. As you can see, XQZ just having a quick little old repositioning, choosing survivability over vengeance as they move up, and away they go. RRQ bringing the full team back on their feet. Now they are ready to continue the fighting here. Curious as to where this is all going to take us towards. Of course, looking at where we are currently on the map, we're up there in Cruz del Valle, which is smack dab center zone. So I think the rest of the team chose to maybe fall back into Torre Ahmada, maybe even going as far as Campo Militar. Ooh, all right. We got Robin Hood over here.
We got Katniss Evergene getting their arrows out. But yeah, I mean, they have a pretty good position right now. I think they don't have to worry so much for the stage number 1. That doesn't go the same to a lot of these teams, however, especially those who aren't on the far northeast. They'll have to go ahead and get those vehicles in. But of course, that's not going to be a problem if they're not going to be running into any other squads. That goes with Void Donkey ID right now. It looks like there's not much people around. And they have their guns, they have their resources. And all that's left is to kind of get a really good position, a really good warehouse. And then perhaps they're good to go. But right now, they're not going to be seeing any eliminations in the near future.
Yeah, it'd be interesting as we have a look at where the teams could look to get themselves situated and how saturated it will be. San Martin, at least for the time being, on the southern side here, not going to have anything too crazy happening just yet. We do see those vehicles just dipping over the horizon. So this could result in Void Donkey going in on a little bit of a chase. DRS and Alter Ego right up here in, the graveyard, it seems, finding a little bit of a back and forth. DRS, they are going to be trying to chase the points as they try to climb further and further up those standings. But Alter Ego, they are the gatekeepers of the top 5. They are the gatekeepers of the prize money. So will they allow DRS to get the jump on them?
Absolutely. This is going to be interesting because DRS, unfortunately, they're not doing quite well. There's already 2 players on their side that needs that revive. And Samsa is not giving up just yet, throwing those grenades in. Unfortunately, is not going to be getting the knocks that they need. But, of course, from a distance, getting those sprays on. Unfortunately, Samsa is going to be the last person standing at this rate. AE, all they have to do is hunt Samsa down. And AE, they still have a lot of players standing about. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're doing anything proactive. Team Secret all of a sudden joins the fray, steals that kill. Now Crosshairs out trying to take down players from AE.
Talked about a denial coming through. I mean, Team Secret playing such a crucial role in upsetting the outcome of these games. But I mean, Team Secret, they've actually been fighting back quite hard over the past few matches, right? Earlier today, they were situated all the way down towards the bottom side of these rankings, and now they've climbed all the way back up, now comfortably up in 13th. And as we can see, there's not a big disparity between the points, right? From 13th up to 8th, 5 slots, 8 points. So that could quite easily change in this game alone. Alva, I think, is going to be the lone survivor left for their squad as Rosemary gets confirmed, and that is it now. I'm not sure what options Alva has available to them, but RRQ, they might be, as you said before, opting for that same rush, that full send, just choosing violence and carnage.
didn't work though. Alter Ego Ares finally gets wiped out from their last player with RRQ's Nuga just spraying them about, actually getting that kill. But unfortunately, Team Secret, they spotted RRQ. They got a few bullets in, but it's not enough to knock down the players of RRQ. La Power just kind of slipped over there. That was pretty funny, but yeah, it looks like RRQ's, they're gonna be preparing for the siege against a Team Secret. But right now, I don't think they have enough information to go ahead and get that strategy and, guns blazing and everything. It looks like they'll be waiting their time until they find a good opportunity to get those kills.
Yeah, sometimes a little bit of waiting can go a very, very long way. We see quite a few teams capitalize on that opportunity, moving themselves into position and then choosing the opportune moment to strike. Speaking about striking, RRQ will get one of their players struck out of here as BTR moves in, seizing a quick cheeky spray down, or run down rather. BTR now getting a little bit of that response here from RRQ. But I feel it's a little bit too late, right? The damage has been done. They can't bring their teammate back into the fight, so they're going to have to make do with 3 players up. Nuga, though, on the front line, going to be keeping a little bit of overwatch, ensuring that there's no surprise maybe coming through from BTR. Tribe Eremacy, though, they could find Hura right here alongside them over on the western side.
Tribe Eremacy is going to be joining the fray. Still 0 eliminations and all 4 players standing, and there's a lot of noise coming about in their surroundings. So it's gonna be like a potential engagement sometime soon. It looks like Team Secret is gonna be going away from that area, and they're just gonna be trying to see if they can find any other engagements, any other potential kills in this area. But it looks like there are only 2. Maybe this is perhaps a split push. Not sure if the map says so. But yeah, E-Arena is also within the vicinity. Potentially a Team Secret versus EA in the near future. But right now, it looks like Joker will be getting that first knock against their side.
Ooh, Dockel getting run over as 456 comes in swiftly with that vehicle approach. Now, DRX, yeah, they're going to get absolutely bullied again as the push is there. You can see Big Mama and XQZ just trying to survive, looking for some way out of this. But E-Arena, they are now focusing on one thing and one thing only. That is to secure the points, secure the compound, and plant their flag right on it. RIQ, though, might look to upset this whole situation.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Tourniquet goes on the red. It's actually 2 players on the side of E-Arena that got knocked down. 456 did get revived. Tourniquet, however, a little bit nervous on their side, but of course not gonna stop the rest of the players of E-Arena from storming the building. They know they have the numbers advantage, but unfortunately it's not working well against them. In order to get 1 player down from the side of DRX, they unfortunately got knocked down twice. And so with that, looks like Tourniquet will be saying goodbye. Mormon still alive. Unfortunately, the last 2 players are just steamed up at this point. RQ joins the picture. Guns blazing. Gets EA one after the other. Look at the number of eliminations RQ has right now. 7. Whatever they're doing, it's effective, it's amusing, it's entertaining, but it's effective. So the last lap goes to RRQ.
Yeah, well, already 7 eliminations, and with 12 minutes in, things are really heating up now, as it is going to be XQZ trying to just fend off any potential advances. The Molly is now going to be doing their thing as Nuga gets lit up by, I think, maybe their own Molly. Let's hope that wasn't the case here. But XQZ just holding on. Here comes the send. Oh, the footsteps are there. The damage lord getting sent up. Nuga now in the danger zone. And back in the lobby they go.
No, I was rooting for them. That was really entertaining. But fortunately, it just wasn't working out for RRQ. They couldn't use the guns blazing strategy at this point, especially since there was 2 floors. It wasn't the open field, and there's a lot of grenades, mollies coming about, and it just didn't work out in their favor. But DRX, they're down to 1 player, and that's thanks to partially RRQ as well. And so with that, we're gonna be turning our attention to the rest of the squads. I mean, we're looking at Vampire Esports right now. Looks like they have one player that disconnected or eliminated, and one that needs a revive. So with that, they're not doing quite well, and they still had zero eliminations for this game. But for everyone else, it looks like Boy and Donkey ID is nearby another squad. So let's see if they'll get any eliminations out of this.
Yeah, we do see Yoru and the rest of Talent just holding on the side there. You got to give it up to RRQ though, right? Nice try. That showing of aggression did award them 7 eliminations, Annie. So it's not all lost, right? At least it did put a few smiles on our faces as well. So respect going out to them. But let's see what Voin Donkey is going to do. Currently occupying 18th position. They've got 30 total points to their name with that one elimination. Are they going to be able to find more? Or are they going to go out and just try and be a little bit of trouble for the rest of the teams? I hope that they opt for the trouble route, because it would be also quite exciting to see what they can do. But we'll find out what is going to be the play of the day here from their side.
Speaking of trouble, I just peeked at the leaderboards. Arky's all the way up to 8th place. And I remember 2 games ago, they were actually 18th place, I think. They were like dead last on their leaderboard. It's just insane. So, you know what? That was pretty funny. That was entertaining. But right now, unfortunately, they're going to be saying goodbye. And so that we're just going to have to watch the rest of these teams. And everyone's kind of playing properly right now. It's Talon versus Voin Donkey. Looks like none of them are kind of like overstepping at this point. They're just trying to see if they can get a really good angle to get some bullets in. But unfortunately for these both teams, they're not finding the angle that they need. Almost got ran over there, but it worked out. So let's see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ jumped 10 slots in just the past 2 games, right? If they can maintain that 8th position that we see them in right now with the 7 eliminations, right? 10 slots, 2 games. 2 games ago, they were in 18th, as you've said. They jumped up into 12th place. Now with the 7, it's moved them up into 8th place. But it's going to be pending all the other teams behind them and what those performances will be. But yeah, I guess if you choose to just come in with a bit of that shock and awe, you could end up smiling at the end of the day. So an absolutely phenomenal performance there from RRQ. Champions, though, we can see they've already secured themselves 3 eliminations. They came in with 34 points. They've now moved into 15th position temporarily. A beautiful bombardment coming through with the utility over onto Team Secret. Little Ben getting picked up right as they try to dip out of there.
Yeah, Champions Esports putting a lot of pressure against Team Secret, and it's working out for them. It looks like Talon, however, off screen, they did get picked off. But a while ago, I saw the mini map where Champions Esports was. There's a lot of teams coming about, so it's gonna be a pretty hard game. Oh my gosh, that was a beautiful grenade landing from the side of Tixiante from Tribe Aeromessy. Absolutely crazy damage. They got 2 at this rate. But unfortunately, it's not gonna be enough for the eliminations on their side. Delta, unfortunately, gets knocked down by the side of A1. But Tixiante gonna get those sprays on. Unfortunately, sees the end as well. That's actually the whole elimination of Tribe Aeromessy all of a sudden. A1 Esports walking away with 4 eliminations.
Yeah, not a bad run here for A1. They are going to be looking to be the one come end of match. Will they get it? They might get the chicken, but they're currently in 8th place, so might as well keep pushing. We only have so much time left until we get to the end of this event. Yangon Galacticos, though, talk about an Overwatch position, right? Say Clouds staying true to their name. Really high, they could almost be in the clouds. And now trying to see if they can maybe sneak a cheeky spray into the side here of, any team in the vicinity.
It's gonna be a bit hard though, because Cloud's gonna be the only one in their team left, and their whole squad just disconnected as well. Like, bro, you're on your own. Good luck with that. But I think what SayCloud can do at this rate is kind of stay alive until, the placement points start rolling in. But of course, we're looking at Sem9 right now. They lost one player. They have 2 eliminations on their side. Firen is ready to fire up their grenades. Fortunately, I don't think it's gonna be resulting into anything coming up in the kill feed. But right now, Voindok is a bit in trouble. I mean, they're doing quite well with 4 eliminations, but they are up in the open field, a little bit nervous with their positions. But that goes the same with Sem9 as well. They're also out in the open. While I was speaking, DRX, somewhere out there, they lost their place in the game. They're down to 10 teams.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but that is the way it goes. Now, Voin Donkey, as I said before, it would be great to see them go out here and just look to be in absolute trouble for the rest of the lobby. And it seems like that is the approach that they are taking. So far, the 4 eliminations are going to bode quite well with them. Gaykor managing to hold on as the party bus does take quite a bit of damage along the way. Sem9 trying to see if they can maybe make that vehicle go boom. No luck just yet. But for Sem9, any points at this point could be coming in quite handy. Let's see if that is going to be on the board, though. Ooh, we got to watch out for Potato. Those sprays definitely not flying out like potatoes. Instead, they're hitting and doing quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, I mean, there's some damage, but it's definitely not enough. But it looks like 1 versus 1 gap core with a player from Sem9 actually make that a 2 versus 1. Still hanging on to dear life, however, and actually getting that whole squad elimination. Sem9 says goodbye. That goes the same with A1 Esports as well. And Voin Donkey's doing really well with 7 eliminations. And you know what? All those points are really gonna help out. But unfortunately, they're still number 16th on the leaderboards. Still, they're doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, they've already moved up, right? So I think they are embracing their inner RRQ in this game, deciding, you know what, let's just go. Let's go out, let's go have fun, let's go upset a few teams, and maybe we can still have a great time doing so. But no, we are going to be jumping over on towards Bigatron by Vitality. Kent cooking the nades up, looking to try and get the boom in onto boom as Federales is on the front line. Got to watch out for those sprays. Oh, cheeky nade up top. Oh, almost reads it right out the window. And now we've got to be careful with the breach here. Trying to smoke it out, closing the door so the flames don't fight back. But wow, this is pretty hairy stuff.
Ooh, Federales gets out with just a sliver of health. I was holding my breath over there. I'm like, Federales. And he survives. And with that, I mean, boom, they're doing really well holding on to the fortress over here. But unfortunately, they're getting bombarded one after the other. And boom goes boom by the hands of BTR. And look at that, Bigatron by Vitality. They walk away. They have 6 eliminations so far.
Yeah, Bigatron doing pretty good stuff right here. They are going to be looking to contest for pole position, potentially, or at least get themselves up into second. 1 point